Hello everyone and welcome back to the VCT Game Changers Asia Pacific Series 2023. I'm Tash Badil alongside Raf as well as Manju. And we are your panelists for today. Raise up a bit, can't see, it's blocked by the mic.
Come on, baby. Do you like the camera?
Yeah, we love that. Oh,
she loves it.
Yeah, she loves the spotlight. More than Taylor, honestly.
Wow.
Regardless.
I don't know where that came from. Honestly.
I mean, you are Taylor. But coming back here into the VCT Game Changers Asia Pacific Series, we are going to go to our second series of the day. And it's going to be the most anticipated match, in my opinion, of the night, which is going to be RRQ Kaguya versus not Global Esports versus Orangutan. Now, this is a very interesting situation because both teams had very phenomenal strong ends yesterday, but RRQ Kaguya actually lost a map to the team that just went home just now, which is Go Siren.
That is true. And speaking of dropping a map, I believe Orangutan actually made RRQ Kaguya bleed. So this is going to be a bit of a grudge match because we all know that RRQ Kaguya wants to really keep that momentum going and that perfection, because once again the throne, it's still being challenged by so many potential usurpers now.
Yeah, but let's have a look at RRQ Kaguya. Now, when we look at the team, remember, most of the core of the team used to be from Alter Ego Celeste, minus Aluka, who used to be... Aluka was briefly inside of Alter Ego Celeste as well, but prior to that, she was also Enigma Galaxy, coming back into this best as well. Also, one of the newer players coming into the team here, previously, if I'm not wrong, was from Zol Maraki. Now, I think that what's really interesting about this particular team is the fact that they are a team that's played together for a very long time, yet they are able to really show full power and maintain that consistency, given the fact that they have lost their main star player from team before, which was Aneri.
Absolutely, and those are huge shoes to fill for everybody. And honestly, we were kind of worried about a butterfly effect that could potentially happen onto RRQ Kaguya. But they've seemed to really fare very, very well without Aneri, and it is just a testament to how strong their system is and them as a core.
Yeah, but for now, let's have a look at Orangutan. So this is also one of my favorite teams to watch right now. When you look at this team, we saw them play yesterday. They are I would say their personalities really show into their gameplay here. And given the fact that Sway had stepped down with Capricious coming into the team, I was a little bit worried about the dynamics. But Capricious looking very much at home playing with the team. And pretty much everyone is playing around her fast gameplay and game style. And of course, who could forget the iconic gameplay from Pips yesterday.
Absolutely. Again, Japips has proven to be the knife before Christmas many a times now. And I'm glad that you mentioned that Capricious has been super, super comfy, especially with a role that requires quite a bit of setup and a lot of demand from your teammates, right? Anyway, she's so distracting, guys. I'm so sorry. But in any case, we probably have a little bit more data this time around, especially on this matchup. And you did mention Aluka, who is again filling up quite a bit of space and a void potentially in RQ Kaguya's ecosystem. She did absolutely pop off, and we are going to be jumping into the map veto here. I am fully expecting Ascent to be banned out by RRQ Kaguya, as that was the map where they did bleed against this very Orangutan squad.
Yeah, Ascent has been one of the strongest maps from Orangutan. So we're going to be seeing Haven, Lotus, and Fracture. Now, we did talk about Lotus. We were so excited about it. And in a lot of situations, Lotus has either been banned out or decided map. Now, in this situation, the pick for Lotus here is RRQ. I'm really curious to see what exactly do they have in mind in terms of how they play on attack defense, and how exactly they're going to be navigating around the map. This is sort of a second Haven. And this brings me to my second point. Both these maps are 3-site maps.
Absolutely, and the thing about Lotus is that your approach for each site has to be so unique because all of them provide unique, problems. C has that awkward verticality when you're trying to retake. We all know that Mount Plant is absolutely deadly, but before we get too ahead of ourselves, Haven. This is honestly a very, very new map, at least against these two, right? Because in the sample size that was presented during the Swiss stage, this did not come out at all. And
yeah,
with that, right, I feel like this is going to be a good reset point on how they're going to size each other up. Again, these are two very storied orgs already. The question is, can Kaguya I guess, compete and complete that, I would say, shine that they always bring to the table.
Yeah, and it's also really interesting as well because the Decider map was the map that RRQ actually struggled with against Capybara yesterday. They actually went to an OT going into 13-15. Now, after that, as they go into... that was Fracture. As they go into the second map, we started to see Kaguya really start to, I would say, step up when they were playing an Ascent at the same time. Now, even though they did well in Ascent yesterday, the fact that they're understanding that Orangutan might be able to do better, they're understanding that it is a map that Orangutan might be very much at home, they decided to take that out of the rotation here. Now, coming into the idea of, RRQ, I think they have a lot to, when you look at them, last year, for the whole year, AECL, the previous roster of RRQ, used to be the queens of the Valorant Game Changers. They were on the top for almost every single Open, and they were undefeated until toward the very end of the year. Now, what do you think is their performance going to be like coming up against a team who is, I would say, as happy-go-lucky and as aggressive as Orangutan?
First and foremost, Orangutan, as you mentioned, very loose, and they're very excited to play the game. Again, you see the enthusiasm and their personalities really bleed through that play style. At the same time, there's just so mentally strong. Again, we have to highlight... Oh, there's another guest here. Please don't bite my foot. Mochi's a little jealous. But, as I mentioned, right, Orangutan, they did come back from that 1-11 deficit from ways ago. And with Kaguya, who's very systematic as well on their approach, they will just have to keep fighting a squad that probably has no dip in their morals. At the same time, this is so interesting, right? Because Kaguya, as I mentioned, very refined, very by the book. Meanwhile, Orangutan, they're very loose. They're very, again, free-spirited when they play. So we will have to see one of these almost unstoppable forces bend today.
I'm really excited to see if we could have a head-to-head. I would love to see a head-to-head between Capricious as well as Aluka. Now, if I were to compare Aluka's performance last year and this year has been phenomenal for her. As we mentioned, I think last year when I was seeing her play during Enigma Galaxy, it felt like she was a little bit lost in terms of her role as the duelist. You would see her go on Arena, perhaps on Breeze, and she was sort of doing her own thing, very separated from her teammates. And as you come into this year, I think what's really great about her is the fact that she has changed the way she played. It's very systematic. It's very, I would say, by the book. It plays by their teammates. And I think this is a very classic RRQ sort of mindset when it comes to playing the game. Regardless, as we go into Haven here, let's see how the compositions are going to go.
Ooh, Ayumi actually taking yet another crack at that duelist role. And
I mean, she's been pretty
say,
good with the duelist yesterday.
Yeah, absolutely. And Aoka going for that second in. So that fragging part, that front line is going to be absolutely disgusting and so potent. Meanwhile, Zinni, who's famously known for a lot of her incredibly supportive flashing playstyle, is going to be alongside Capricious here. And of course, everybody else. We cannot discount the supporting cast, the absolute monsters of the backlines. And once again, we have yet another mirror matchup, Tosh.
I mean, it is a matchup that, a composition that is, I would say, very good to be used on Haven, and it suits a lot of different playstyles. Now, if you want to talk about flexibility, I feel like Orangutan is one of those teams that didn't really have to worry too much about swapping roles. It's like one person, one role, which means that you're going to be doing almost the same similar thing over and over again. But for RRQ Kaguya, they have been swapping roles. Now, I'm really curious to see how this affects their performance. So let's go into our first map of our first upper bracket game of the night. Let's go Taylor and BNB.
Well, thanks there, Tosh and Raph. We're going now into this game here with really lots done by either side. Upper bracket match of the day. I'm Black and Blue. With me is Taylor, as kindly introduced there by Tosh a while ago. And Taylor, we're going to have a very curious game up on their hands. Both of these teams, really, some of them projected to make it potentially into a podium grand finals finish.
That's definitely true. These are the top two teams we're looking actually forward to. And maybe a glimpse of what we can see maybe in the grand finals, but you cannot discount there's still Sapphire playing around in this tournament, right? There's just so many amazing teams, not only that, stronger teams as well. But heading on to our first series between these two teams from yesterday, Japeeps. If any Filipinos watching out there, I know there's gonna be fans. The Tondo Gaming, the knife kills that she was able to produce yesterday. And I think if she has the ability to do so right now, she would actually do it again.
Well, certainly someone notorious for keeping that up on. and keeping that on track. As we go into the opening round of this game here in the upper bracket. We got Orangutan on the attacking side, RRQ on the defense, the former possible champs there in the old Alter Ego squad with a bit new faces on their side. Defensive hold here towards Garage, keeping them at bay. Orangutan, as the gravity well is pulled. Slow reaction from Iceberg, seemingly maybe caught unaware or unready for that peak from Capricious.
Little bit surprised, I would say, when it comes to sewers right there. But again, OGT now aside for the taking. That's gonna be A, and already a nano swarm being set upon, and even the flank is being taken care of. OG is ready to take on this post plant position, but RRQ, I know that they're good when it comes to Haven, and I know they're good when it comes to retake. You just cannot discount that fact. And now in a pistol round, again, anything can happen here as a Yumi dives in onto the site. The stun perfectly connecting and now they have to clear out all angles here. Hell is being cleared out, and now in a 2v1 situation, it's all up to Japeeps. Right click to the face, but not enough to take on the kill. RRQ settles this to a 1-0.
Well, you called it, Taylor, right on the money. They're a great team on this retake, RRQ, and we saw that even before they raised this banner in the past. Good job on that. You take the site off the plant, but ultimately enough, able to dismantle that post-plant hold. And while we have a little bit of time to talk, we know that as far as rosters goes, right, and big elephant in the room, RRQ, question is, coming to this, how do they perform without Ineri? One of the biggest players we saw in the entirety of APAC last year around, and so far, they've been doing pretty well. In fact, when you look at the past 25 matches, series that they've played, they've only lost against one team, and that has continuously been Sapphire. 4 times around. They won one of those bouts as well, 1-4, but still, there is a kryptonite for this RRQ squad, so there certainly is a blueprint for other teams to, you know, continue and to follow, but can a team like Orangutan do it here?
I honestly agree with what you just said, but none other than that, I would like to add into it that the Aluka-Ayumi combination has been quite deadly from the match that we saw yesterday. And like you said, they've been performing quite well as what we can see from the previous game or yesterday rather. But yet again, against Orangutan, a stronger team that we have right here. Also, a fan favorite can be big. Aluka already with an initial pick-off through the smoke, and Best even a very, very viable player here in RRQ side. Look at this, very clean takes, and now 1 by 1, all falters. Flawless round indeed for RRQ.
The announcer said it. Flawless round, no real fuss, no real problem. Spam on through from Aluka. And I think it's curious that we're seeing Aluka kind of flex on over to the breach here when a lot of times on over, she would be the one placed in that duelist position. Not that Ayumi couldn't do it, and not that she never did, because we have seen that come from Ayumi in the past, right? Even on that former roster, but we did just kind of get used to seeing a lot more of that Aluka on the front line. But now that she's the initiator, I wonder if this is a conscious decision to allow one of their really most fiery hands, one of their best aimers on the team, and in general in APAC, to allow herself to be put in more clutch situations because she's a bit more in the back line now.
Well, if that's the case, knowing Aluka as a player anyway, way back even NGX times, this girl or this woman can definitely play and flex around agents. She has been playing Sova before for NGX as well. She has been wanting to be the duelist in the duelist role. She managed to pull it off yesterday. Why not again? Especially if times get tougher, and especially going forward where teams get tougher and tougher, you have to have that different style, different strategy. And maybe mixing things up when it comes to compositions like that can be a big thing, or can be a really good flex towards RRQ.
Yeah, gonna help you be a lot less easy to read. But speak of Aluka, she's taken down here by Casper early on. The friendly ghost, not this time around, seems to be more the menacing one. Ayumi, she's waiting for that catch, but the timing doesn't go her way. Chloe, quick find. The Orangutan have a post plant here. Difficult to try and retake this. We saw difficult retake work out a while ago, but I don't have much hopes for this one. Capricious finds another. An RRQ. Maybe some damage can be done this round, but ultimately enough, it should be Orangutans.
Still have Spectres here. The Concuss almost hitting Capricious here. But yet again, you have an Astra that has set stars already. And no matter where you go, no matter what you do, you're gonna get stuck and sucked in on that gravity well. Or either or, you're gonna go to heaven and it's smoked off. There's just no point of error here for RRQ's side, knowing that this was their bonus anyway. A good take from Orangutan, especially almost a flawless round. Only one man down if I'm not mistaken. And 2-1 it is. Orangutan though, they have good takes here. They can punish the players of RRQ. And I honestly think that beforehand this match happened, I know we didn't have much time to talk, but I would say this is one of the matches I'm really looking forward to casting.
I agree. And especially just RRQ in general, right? They were that team to be touted to go very deep. Napski on the punish here in the Capricious. It didn't even give us time to talk about things there, Taylor, and address your point, because the round is just going so fast. They have the operator, by the way, on the Yumi, but Best is able to get the double kill, holding things down from the log, but he's taken down eventually by Casper. 3v2. They have the advantage here. They can play the retake.
What an anchor. Like I told you from yesterday, this has been the performance of Best. And it will just go forward and go forth along the days that we are looking at here at Game Changers. Aluka, though, holding crosshair. And now with a double kill, punishing the last two remaining players of Orangutan. Very deadly team composition indeed. Now they have the operator as well, Black and Blue.
That's the reason why, you know, potentially why they have her on that. We've seen this in the past, though. To play that breach, if you have her on the backline in that case, you don't have to worry about leaving Aluka to be one of those players to hold down and anchor the site. She can be playing outside of the site and join the retake instead, where arguably it could be a bit more value in such a young, talented player like her. So RRQ, as I was saying, you know, they're one of those teams that were kind of touted to win it all at the end of the year under that alter ego banner. They won practically every single stage, but just came down to a 5-map series in the end where Sapphire eventually took him on down. But they're looking to find their gems in this stage, Taylor.
Again, that stun perfectly connecting towards the entry the Orangutan is producing right now. Even Napski is just holding on to the smokes here, really waiting till they can catch someone off guard. And Best, really good positioning here, but a shutdown from Chloe. Now a free Vandal for them to take, at least making things a little bit easier on the Orangutan squad here, especially that they are in the post plan.
Orangutan, as of the moment, they have that rifle retrieved on the Chloe. They have a Rolling Thunder to throw on out, but it doesn't come to be needed. Aluka still has it in their pocket. 3v2. Timing here, Aluka gets a kill. She knows that they have to stick this defuse somehow. The Cloudburst is going to dissipate. The Gravity Well pulls her on the way. They're playing post plan perfectly. Orangutan can color them white. And Aluka, she's taken on down. Even the kills go her way, but the round is done due to the time. And doesn't even save the op in the end.
Man. You can see her running away and really shaking her mouse. You just cannot run anymore from the spike. She got off and pulled off those kills, but it was already too late for the side of RRQ. And that was such a good post-plan setup, knowing that they were on a pincer here, and at the same time, they were just able to pull off the Gravity Well perfectly, not allowing them to defuse the spike. Good setups here and there, coming in from both sides, I would say. And now, moving forward though, Rolling Thunder here in pockets of RRQ, and a Cosmic Divide for the pistol, or rather their eco.
Well, we've seen eco rounds converted, as that previous one was. Maybe RRQ can do more of the same here. Take an eco round of their own. And this is, I think, by far the slowest round we've had so far, coming to 6, so a bit of a time to breathe here for RRQ. Anticipating where the push will come. It seems to be that A side, Taylor.
Sorry, I was just putting my AC down, because this match is getting hotter and hotter. And the room as well, where I'm staying at, is definitely hotter this time around. The blades! Only hitting one. That's going to be Casper going down. One more swing. That's going to be Aluka. And now with the Rolling Thunder. This has hit the players of RRQ, but they answer back with their own Rolling Thunder here. With a flank coming in from Napski. She was able to punish one and one only. 3v2 situation. Again, you have to remember, this is an eco round for RRQ.
Yeah, could have been a double there for Napski as well. But Zinni was kind of
30 seconds left.
blown past the angle. And we know Zinni as one of those players from last year as well, who absolutely just impressed and performed when she was on that Brent squad as well. Capricious did a lot of things on Soul, but this time around, the soul of his team, Iceberg, sinking Orangutan here on their anti-eco, and they get the 4th round.
I like the decision that they actually pulled and used the Rolling Thunder going back, especially they know they had flank, they know they had Napski from behind, and this worked out perfectly in the hands of RRQ. But yet again, you have to give it to Orangutan for fighting for their life there, especially being after connected towards that on a main where the Rolling Thunder hit them. Like you said, Zinni was able to still manage to kill off Nabski there. Very important kills that we are looking at and very impactful. And I feel like this timeout is also very essential because it seems like for both teams, they are good, extremely good, to a point where they're just having a difficult time closing the rounds to make sure it's for them.
Yeah, they gotta,
for them.
Yeah, they gotta secure those rounds that, like, they have an advantage in. Because we just saw 2 eco rounds, 2 thrifty rounds back-to-back by either side. One, Orangutan won round 5 off the thrifty. RRQ won round 6 off the thrifty. And when that continues to happen, it just never leaves the economic state of either side in an equilibrium, or at least in a state where it's going to be reliable enough to continuously buy or continuously put up a good fight throughout the half. So RRQ now, they're the ones with the proper buy. Orangutan economy a bit more wavering, but they do have the lockdown. They do have the Hunter's Fury. And as we've seen from these rounds, Taylor, that on these thrifties, it's been the ultimates that have really helped secure these eco rounds towards the rail.
True that, and they're not scared to use it, especially if they know they can gain advantage or a good advantage towards taking the side. Alucard though a little bit stuck here, tagged, but she still delivers. Iceberg and Alucard getting that double on the side of Orangutan though, one by one. They're all going down. They're still Japeeps though, holding on to that Spectre. It's not enough though. RRQ really diminishing, really obliterating completely the side of Orangutan here.
And we know RRQ, they are arguably the team here to beat in this series. They're the ones with the upper hand. Orangutan, not a bad team by any means, especially with the new pickups that they've, signed in the offseason. But just history, tenure, and past achievements really do decorate that RRQ squad a bit more. And that's where they're doing pretty well here so far. Operator out for a Yumi once more. The Malaysian duelist here, one of the highest ACSs in this entire circuit. She starts off with the opening pick as Hunter's Fury is thrown on out, and Alaka! There's the big player we were looking for as well. Gets a double, and now the advantage heavily in RRQ's favor.
A double punch, a double swing. Now Ayumi goes out as well. Moves a little bit further. She's tagged a lot, but she still wants to fight. Unfortunately, Casper will be there to shut her down. Fortunately enough, though, for OGT, they still have 2 remaining players here, Zinni and Casper, working their way to try and go to a site. They just have to clear out 2 angles here, a crossfire that the players of RRQ has set. And the thing is, they still have a fault line here where Alucard has been performing, or rather using correctly and phenomenally.
Spike down.
Still gets that kill somehow. Casper, though, okay, finds a 1v2. That crossfire actually isn't
Spike
as
planted.
reliable as you might think, because it isn't an immediately tradable one, as we see there, because of that box. But space spot 1v2 cosmic divide potentially to isolate these fights with a lockdown here from Nabski to try and make something happen, try and buy her time. But Orangutan defuse coming on in. Oh no, the gravity well, it isn't deep enough, and they're just gonna stick this. That's a round. Disastrous.
Didn't hit. Oh no, it wasn't exactly the way they wanted it to be. The setup was okay, but not good enough to actually pull out the player defusing the spike. Up until the very end, you can see the firing capability, the opposition, especially on the defense, a very aggressive one, I would say. They would always fight for A main. They wouldn't give up control here. And Orangutan, I think if they find a footing, if they find a good read against the players of RRQ, because they can definitely get those swings in and they can definitely hit the shots.
We saw what happens when they hit those shots for sure. Orangutan once more. Difficult state, especially on the attacking side. This is not a good tale to start off this map on Haven.
Right there.
And, we look at the stats here for Orangutan in the past. They've been perfect. Decimating the competition here in Haven. 13-1 against Big Scythe. 13-4 versus the Hero during the Swiss stage. And to have this type of performance early on, it's boding real well signed for RRQ. Great shot landed by Ayumi. Her dash is expired. Rather, she pops it now, but doesn't even need to get back into safety.
Oh, the push! Oh no! The shot doesn't hit! Aftershock even to give more pressure, but Casper hitting the shots here. Again, a pistol round coming in from OGT, or even a broken buy, but is still making it work as Lockdown. Now onto the works, especially with the Cosmic Divide. They're really investing a lot of utilities here on the side just to delay that retake potential that RRQ has.
Casper ratting within this smoke. Oh, gets a kill off of it as well. Can find the fourth. The Aldrone. It's a bit too late there when they pushed into it. And Aluka, very low on HP. Just send Iceberg all in her lonesome. She gets a trade, but there's no time for this. She knows it has to go for the save. And this is like, what, the third or fourth eco round we've seen be won by a team on this map alone.
I know, right? It's just eco rounds after eco rounds. At one point, at one degree, they're all just gonna decide that maybe we just go all pistol. You know what? We're all friends. Why not? They always play with each other anyway. Already Japeeps beforehand, already giving caution towards the players here, especially Filipino players. She wants to knife them out. But anyway, Orangutan here really paving their way so far, especially this economy round that we had is very impactful for the rest of the team. This will allow them to bounce back much better and much more efficient.
Allow them to have a bit more stability pushing forward and moving on with this half potentially. Rifles abound now finally for Orangutan once more. Hunter's Fury up online, but it's a lockdown that I'm looking at here from RRQ. When do they burn it? Do they use it to buy more time on this defensive hold? Do they retake with it instead? There's many options, but as long as that Hunter's Fury is online, you're going to see RRQ, I think, be a bit more wary of utilizing it, potentially, because they know it can be burnt out quickly by the opposing Orangutan side.
They also used up the Sova drone there, not spotting anyone, and immediately moving away, while Ayumi and Iceberg waiting patiently, hugging each other just so they don't get spotted by the drone. But Bess is already anticipating that recon. This is now the Hunter's Fury in play. Nabsky just chattering through the way here on C side. Capricious inside already. They know Bess is here as well. The anchor of RRQ working hand in hand. Capricious and Casper. It's all up to the two players here. The double peek. Swing out from Capricious. Not didn't work out. And Casper to swing alongside. Aluka though goes down in the hands of Casper. But in the end, Ayumi is there to save the day for RRQ.
That was played so well there from Bez. You can see she had that smoke to try and halt that push towards the backside a bit more, but she rats with it. She plays out, swings wide, gets a kill, and importantly also buys space and attention, pulls the aggro basically from the Orangutan attacking side to have to deal with her. And in that chaos, in that kerfuffle, the rest of the RRQ defense able to make work out of it. Look at this, Alika at 18 kills, and she's farming that Rolling Thunder round after round.
How many times have we seen the Rolling Thunder in this matchup that we're looking at right now? So many online utilities, but this flash, and I think they're also planning to use the drone, but didn't. Instead, they go for dry peek, dry push. Ayumi already with a double kill. No trade-off so far here. Another flash. Maybe she's just gonna get them all, but then, in the end, Casper managed to pull back 5 HP and a dream for Capricious. Not enough though, as Iceberg shuts her down. 8-3, Black and Blue. So far, these rounds are going fast.
Oh my goodness. You're right on the money there, Liza. Like, everything just completely back and forth between either side. And the pace, as you said, fast, quick. Just lightning. Electrifying in the way that they push that pace. Even on the defensive side, RRQ, they choose to push forward. They know the eco's on the other side, and yet they bring that fight up close. But more importantly, they still win it out. When you have talents like a Yumi on your side, how can you not? She's got the up, falls back with the blades, with a dash as well. Look at this, they still want to fight this.
This aggressiveness coming in from Ayumi, I don't know how she gets away with it every single time. And now, they use up the Rolling Thunder yet again. A double updraft coming in from Ayumi to get that verticality. This Cosmic Divide she's playing around with Aftershock coming in. No one really to find on site. Orangutan hasn't gone in yet. There's no spike planted yet. Bess, on the other hand, flanking. The greatest flank of her life as she kills Japeeps here. 4v4, Black and Blue.
Casper able to do some work there. At least helping out with the rest of the team. Aluka gets that kill on the retake. Ayumi as well. The blade so difficult to dismantle, so difficult to deny. Nabsky holding on to the garage through the window. They get the kill, but ultimately enough. The round is done. 9-3. Another decisive half from a team.
What a game, honestly. This is so much fun to cast, and at the same time, you can really see the aggressiveness that the defense is pulling off right now. And the factor is, or rather the thing is for Orangutan, they just keep fighting as well. They want to go and try the pacing that RRQ is giving them when they can actually relax for a little bit longer. But anyway, let's see what the panel thinks about this first half right now. Raph and Tash, take it away.
For the second time today, we are going to be seeing a 9-3 half, and this time on the upper bracket on Haven between RRQ versus Orangutan. Now, let's talk a little bit about these two teams' dynamics. The aggression from RRQ, what is going on here?
I feel like that aggression is super, super well measured, and we only truly see it on the longer angle of a main. And I am so glad that the way they set it up was potentially dumping so much utility and just a lot of investment towards that sewer position. So in the latter rounds of that half, that's when they started putting Ayumi on that aggressive position. That's when Aluka started being a little more far forward and supporting in the way of also fragging the hell out. And it's just one of those games where I kind of just want to turn my brain off and watch everything unfold. But you know what? It has been fantastic.
Yeah, and I think it comes down to fundamentals as well. When you look at how the utility usage from Orangutan has been, it was phenomenal yesterday, but coming into today, it was the idea that RRQ had, which was to waste as many utilities as possible. Coming into RRQ here, we saw a lot of utilities used in the post plant because they didn't feel the need to use it so early. That's number one. And number two, coming back to fundamentals, that pure raw aim that is in Aluka and Ayumi's hands. Let's talk about that.
I love that. You know, that is my favorite playstyle. I know it's a tactical shooter, but why do I need to use my utility if I can just absolutely demolish you on that wide peak? And I know a lot of people would disagree, but once again, it's super fun to watch and is an absolute crowd favorite.
Yeah, it is. And we saw Thrifties on Thrifties. Is that going to be the issue as we go into the second half? Going to pass it back to Black and Blue and Taylor. Take it away, friends.
Aluka already texted me, dude. I think she has a date. Yeah.
Really?
Just here. Yeah, just right now.
Be.
Yeah, she has somewhere to be. She has a date, so she's trying to make it fast. That's why. But anyway, welcome back here. And we're still not yet done. It's just the first half, Black and Blue. 9-3 is the score. So much 9-3s today, by the way.
Yeah, it's been a 9-3 curse, as we saw a while ago in Icebox happen on right. But that second game as well, between, you know, GOC and Global, it really went towards one favor over the other. And this could potentially be more the same case. RRQ got 9 rounds on the defense, and now they're on the favored side on Haven on the attack. They want to go aggressive towards A. And you talked about it a while ago in the first half. The pace of these rounds, they're so quick. We're ending these rounds really fast, and that's a lot due to just how aggressive RRQ can be.
Now Chloe has to come back, or go back rather. Especially so much presence being detected here from sewers up until A main. They know it's gonna be an A hit quite soon, especially with the fault line coming in. Now Ayumi gonna be shut down here. Aluka to save the day, but not enough. Chloe to shut her down as well. Ayumi Aluka combination gone out like a wind.
Oh, Navsky on the wide swing completely catches her with a clothesline there, spraying with a frenzy, but the shock darts down to 1 HP. She's somehow alive. How did she stay in this fight still? Best trying to have back on up her teammate, but there's the second shock dart. Japeeps is like, if it didn't catch you with the first, here's the second. OGT takes the pistol.
Like it. I like what I'm seeing, girls. I love it. I love it when you just go in onto the side, fight it over. Napsky, I don't know how she survived this shock dart, honestly. Maybe connected only onto her backpack as a killjoy. Managed to at least, I think, get one more kill before she actually falters down. But Japeeps, geometry, as usual. And Japeeps also texted me back.
Really?
Black
What'd she
and
say?
blue.
What'd she say?
Yeah, she said, like, in Filipino terms, you know, people who are actually the main character at the first times or the first rounds, it's gonna be them being down below.
Ah, the main character of their own story, it seems. Well, gotta make sure that this book ends the way that they were hoping. Not some alternate fan timeline. Orangutan. All specters abound here on their side, but it's RRQ who want to try and disengage from that fight. If they cross towards garage, they should know there's a turret here. They can hear it beeping, tooting, hemming. That presence will be given away. So they can go for that B option instead. It's the most open site for them to take as of the moment, and it's the one that they seem to opt to go for.
Very, very quiet map. A little bit scary when it's that quiet. You just don't know where they're gonna hit. And B is very, very open for RRQ to take. No one really around here. And Orangutan, I'm expecting this is the play for a retake that they want to do. Especially they have Spectres here. They just, I think the work or the play here is to really go in onto the site altogether. Especially they have the guns.
See if that benefits him out in the end. The push on here, trying to take that A-Link away. But the hold from OGT rather, Orangutan, making sure they don't lose control of that A-Link side. Neither link really being held here or taken by RRQ, and they just overrun the defensive post-plant hold. Getting the defuse off without much of a fuss. Still, good economy built here by RRQ in those opening 2 rounds. I want to see how they play their attacking now moving forward.
The P is to win. The plan is to win. That's the plan for Orangutan, especially they knew what their strengths are when it comes to that round. And it worked out perfectly towards their side. A good start again for the second half for Orangutan. If they want to make a comeback happen after that 9-3, and we might actually see a 9-3 curse, especially if they pull off and convert this bonus round that we are looking at. But I'm a little scared, honestly. We've seen RRQ's defense and aggressiveness a while ago, and I just assume it. We're gonna see it on the attack.
I see your rhymes. And now it's time for RRQ to win around here. Ayumi gets that one, quick on the swing. Japeeps, they're trying to deny this from being happened in the first place, but the spike does go down. Defuse here can be stuck. Not much utility in denying that available. There is a single star, but will it come in time? Napsky wins that fight. The Spectre just not the most viable option at a long range. Best gets blinded here on the friend. And Napsky's able to get the trade. 2v2. They both go down to the hands of Best and Napsky. It came close, but RRQ win the round that they needed.
I mean, for RRQ, they only had one plan. And that is for the Sova to plant the spike and get the hell out of it. And they know exactly why. Because the pressure that Orangutan can give on site, especially with the stuns, especially with so much utility play that you can get. You have recons, you have shock darts, you have flashes here and there. It's much safer option. And anyway, default post-plant setup is what we're looking at some point in some degree in B sites. It's just a matter of time until one goes, or rather, one dies off after another. Another new round here, RRQ. They're still on the lead. 5 rounds to go for Orangutan. Iceberg? Only spots one, really, but not sure about onto the left, and that's gonna be Capricious waiting patiently, and it paid off.
It's a mirror match, by the way, here from either side. Iceberg with a Bulldog, but Zinni gets another kill for that Orangutan side. They're holding on to this sewer without much of a problem. Flushing them down the drain here. RRQ, Alika good for the one, but they know of her position. They know the spike is out of her control, and they should be aware that she's still here because Casper is making sure that she simply doesn't rotate off of this and isn't able to pick up that spike as well. Maybe she can win a fight here, but it doesn't even come to it as Orangutan laying this swing back their way. They get the game to 10-6.
Good anchor on the site itself. Not only that, they did a triple stack yet again. If you can remember, this was also during that last round. They just leave B side completely and focus on A and C. And I don't think RRQ realizes this yet. But there's a difference or change up of pacing here, honestly. For Orangutan, they do that 2 times in a row, but this time, they're gonna take care of B. They're having and trying to have a good read here against RRQ, and so far, it's working out wonders. And RRQ now, economy down the drain. They have to stick to whatever they have currently.
You can potentially go towards that B site, and what they do have, Taylor, is the lockdown at the very least, right? They can use that to maybe buy them some space. Maybe if best find a way in here. The blades, though, they ultimately come eventually. Oh, turret takes out Yumi.
Timmy, the turret!
The MVP of this one so far. Chloe's down to very low. Shot was connected through the window there. But they get another clean round without losing a single player here. Orangutan. Really no monkey business being played as they're looking pretty clean so far on this second half on the defense of all things.
They know when to fight, they know where to look, and at the same time, they know which angle to really take control of. And so far, like I said, once the swap happened, we've seen Orangutan take up the pistol. Not only that, the rounds that are coming afterwards, RRQ obviously having a tougher time here on the attack compared to the defense a while ago. And the aggressiveness that we were seeing from a while ago is still there. But Orangutan has better answers now, especially they're on the defense. They're willing to wait, as I would say in Jollibee.
Yeah, Orangutan, as you said. Wait, why you gotta make it? Now you're making me hungry.
Gotta
Taylor.
get that Jolly Spaghetti, bro.
You know, I already. Now I want some chicken.
Jolly Spaghetti.
Now I want to.
You know what's funny? Because
Yeah.
we're so used to calling it Jolly Spaghetti, Yum Burger, etc., right?
Yeah.
And other people or foreigners actually laugh at me when I say it. Because they're like, what? You call it Jolly Spaghetti?
Yeah, it's like, you know, when you order a
You call
water,
it Chicken Joy? Yeah, because we're happy when we eat it.
Yeah, like a McBurger or a McWater.
A McBurger.
Wherever you need. But as you were talking about, yeah, the defense, much in contrasting to what we saw from the previous match. You see Orangutan here, they wait a lot. They wait for RQ to go make that contact. But this is no wait here from Capricious. She wants to get the early peek off. It doesn't connect, but it's a warning not to come her way.
Warning shots, you know? You gotta do it. You gotta scare them off. And I think Capricious already, since a while ago, scaring RRQ off here. And Ayumi, though, might see an entry here, especially the Rolling Thunder has been set upon on the C side. They have to clear out the corners, and that they do. Japeeps to go down, but Casper holding on to her dear life with the help of Capricious. Was able to take on 3, or rather 2 kills here. But yet again, Ayumi, the only person remaining here for RRQ's side. And Orangutan, time and time again, round after round, they're slowly getting back at it. Black and blue, this is such an amazing matchup.
Well, it's certainly one that has impressed so far. Orangutan, pace being found, the momentum being swung their way, and just confidence being soothed here into every round they play. It's RRQ have been struggling. They call their timeout during that previous round, and it still isn't coming to play. It still isn't coming to pass. Stun on out here as Ayumi goes for the push.
They do have that moments, though. I would say it happened yesterday as well, where they were already at 11 points, and they literally one win away for that match point. Unfortunately, a comeback. So, can happen again, especially against Orangutan. It's a strong team, strong showing. Capricious resetting here onto sewers. They know there's an operator. They want to put pressure on Yumi to go down with 1 kill. It's a piece! Another with a double. Really anchoring the sides here, Black and Blue.
Yeah, it's going to be difficult for them to try and get the ship sailing when the anchor is already set down. Aluka somehow connects a shot. She's scanned. They know of her presence. They're going to have to try and walk up towards the same main. But the operator from Capricious is going to be deadly. Dangerous in its pursuit. 3v3. Shot connects straight from Natsuki. There comes a follow-up from Capricious on the second. Orangutan cut the lead down to a single round.
Ayumi probably typing on the keyboard. Good eco, guys. Good eco. At least they were able to punish 3 players here for the side of OGT. Punishing the economy alongside that. But in the end, the rounds are what is important here. We started off with the 9-3, and so far in this attacking side, RRQ was just able to take 1 away. And that's an issue, because if you think about it, on the defense, they were quite aggressive, like we were saying a while ago, and we touched upon this already. And they still have to find that footing here on the attack.
You are divided! You know, I'm not a superstitious man. But if this curse comes true once more, for the second time here today, for the second map in a row, I've got to believe it. RRQ right now, they have to start getting these rounds and stop the momentum of Orangutan. That's one way to bring momentum back their way. Here comes on out. They burn the Rolling Thunder as they thought the plant was going to be placed. Casper makes the information contact though. That sees where it's going to be. The pull, the gravity well. Still Chloe wins it out. She's pulled in. She does get taken down. But the anchors of Orangutan doing huge work. Casper from the flank. And Zinni comes in on the help as well. Orangutan timed the game.
What a round indeed! Skirmish after skirmish, engagements after engagements. And the fact that Chloe was vulnerable, not only that, was blinded as well. And it took a lot of time before they were able to pounce on Chloe like that. 10-10, Orangutan. So far, slowly but surely, but honestly, they're taking it fast as well. And I'm just pretty amazed with how the take here is, because honestly, that was so risky. Chloe had the lockdown for retake, but they still fought it out.
And Casper is doing so much work in this game. Lots of kills, top frag right now on the Orangutan side. And she's a player that there's definitely a big following for good reason. The only Indian player here in this match right now, in this game so far, also came in from that BLT Asteria roster that we talked about a while ago in the opening match with Global. But he was a big part of that, as a lockdown does get placed on in. RRQ finally have a round where they have some semblance of control. But it's a post-plan take, the retake here from Orangutan, that has been a big problem for RRQ.
They put the lockdown in the middle, really giving out big space onto the side. Cosmic Divide, fault line settling in. This is already a cue that the Tyke, it's time to actually do the retake and make the retake happen. Japeeps already going forward and getting that double kill. Chloe with another here. Orangutan really paving the way for that win right now. They're going for that defuse. It's only up to Iceberg, but so much pressure. And Nippon bumping towards that Astra even.
No time! No! 0.12 seconds, just barely edged out in the end. I thought that could have been it. Japeeps on the drop here from the heavens. He gets those two in hell. The Cosmic Divide denies the A main angle. And still she wins it out in the end, Iceberg. Incredible sequence once more.
No way! Everything that could be wrong happened on the side of RRQ on that post plan. But in the end, they were still able to take it off, especially with just a split millisecond on that defuse. 11-10, the scoreline moves yet again, Black and Blue.
They finally get around though. No matter how close those margins were, Taylor, they at least were able to get something on the board. But was it convincing enough? Not to us, no, but to themselves. Do they have confidence yet after winning that type of round. Because we know that we hear it from players a lot. A lot of times, their biggest problems come from their own mental and losing big deficits. Those are the ones that can really shake up, you know, the preparedness and mental of the game of a player in this case. Because Bez even cleared this out. Casper has a great angle here to maybe get a kill.
Oh, that's so much tag towards Garage. It's almost as if it's Christmas. And Japeep's really holding down the fort here, taking so much damage from the players of RRQ.
Oh.
But again and again, completely obliterating them. That Sova recon dart onto Garage gave it away, Black and Blue.
They barely even let them walk out of that Garage exit here, Taylor. And you normally a lot of times what you would see is like Casper in that case would hold on to C-long control, but no, she pushes out all the way to try and fight within the site with the rest of the team who are just clobbering the attacking RRQ side into that one corner. And RRQ, that's what I was talking about, the confidence here. It's not in their favor just yet. They haven't found the wings in their sails. And this is looking very dire for RRQ. Eco round, 9-3 half, lost. Orangutan, good pace to make match point.
And you can really see the comfortability of RRQ here on pistol rounds. It's almost as if they only go A at some point, at some degree. They know they have a higher chance taking it, maybe more on the comfortability side. But if you think about it, they have an operator to deal with here again. Not only that, this can be the match point, but nevertheless, Ayumi to start things off with a kill onto that Frenzy. They want to put pressure onto Zinni here, but yet again to the right clicks. We go! The free gun takes on the kill compared to the Vandal, which is worth 2-9.
Classic. Free gun. That's value for sure. And Casper gets a last kill. His match point here. Secured by Orangutan. And who cares about the 9-3 half? That deficit erased.
It's a curse.
And they are elated. I think I'm starting to believe in that curse now too, Liza.
I know, right? It was because John didn't jinx it, honestly. And it's his fault right now. 11-12. We might be even seeing an overtime here. Again, RRQ playing for that overtime, rather. And despite the round, or the eco round we had a while ago, they don't have amount of money to actually buy off fully. And this is it. Make or break for game number 1, Black and Blue. It's either RRQ wins, or we go to overtime, or Orangutan takes game number 1.
What a heartbreaking game number 1 for
that's
RRQ,
true.
if you're a fan for them. Fan
The
of
mental,
them, rather.
too.
Oh, yeah. The map pick of your own team. One that you've been one of the best in the entirety of the Game Changers APAC circuit, and to lose it to Orangutan, that'd be devastating. But the retake once more to come in online. We saw this be very successful the last time around on Orangutan's side, even though the time went away. If they can do it a lot quicker this time, they should have a good pace, and they find an opening kill. That's Eugene Nabsky.
Bess is quite aware. She's just inside the smoke. Good positioning coming in from RRQ. 2v1. Chloe. She has to clutch this. Chloe. Low HP. Haluka with 5. And they finally do it. They finally make the comeback happen. Orangutan. 13-11. What a heartbreaking match for RRQ.
Wow.
Defenders win.
Impressive here from Orangutan on that second half. 10 rounds they needed to win in that second half to bring it and win this game in regulation. And they did it in the final round of regulation as well. Chloe had the health advantage here, wins a fight out with the information as well. You can see just how elated they are to be able to take a map and steal that map away from RRQ.
Japeeps is just like, I don't know how I made it happen, but yeah, it happened. It made the comeback just happen just like that. But anyway, this match, this series, like we said, very exciting for us, everyone here. At this point, for me, anything or anyone can win, I don't mind. As long as I see this kind of good matches that we're looking at here in Game Changers. But nevertheless, Black and Blue, we have to talk it straight. RRQ, it happened to them one time, and this time again. This is the second time that they got comeback like that in a map they picked.
Yeah, that can really break your spirit moving on forward. But you talked about their dates a while ago, Taylor, and it seems like they're gonna have to postpone that for the meantime because we could be going into map 3 if they really want to be able to win this series here. RRQ, what a game, what a map won so far, especially for our opening upper bracket match here of this stream. And I'm just so impressed by how Orangutan were able to play.
Not only that, if you think about it, Casper really stepped up to the table here as a controller, really getting that, winning the duels that are very impactful for the rest of the team. And for the side of Orangutan, even Japeeps on the attack wasn't that, online, I would say. But once the swap happened, she's just the anchor of the team alongside with Casper. What a match we just witnessed here. That's just game number 1, though. We still have a lot of games in store of us, or a game, rather. We never know. But again, for this map, it's just 1-0 for this best of 3 series. And for right now, we're just gonna pass it on to our amazing panelists. Tash and Raph, my twin, take it away.
Amazing match. Thank you very much, BNB and Eliza. I have to say that what's really amazing about this is the fact that OG managed to make the 9-3 curse work and how dominating it was on the second half for Orangutan.
Absolutely, and you did mention that there was a lot of conditioning happening on the side of Orangutan. Thank you, Tash. You brought up so many great points that I could have potentially missed. But one thing that we have to acknowledge too, OGT had a more passive and more bunkered approach on that defense, and they were really ready to stand their ground and just really weather all those sight hits. Now, as we mentioned, conditioning, I have to attribute this, and we have to attribute this to Zinni. Oh my goodness, what a flash god. And you know what, guys? If you're gonna call me biased for calling out her absolutely amazing performance, go ahead. Because her as a rotator has just made it impossible for RRQ to get a clean fight, alongside with just the excellent utility usage of OJT. And man, they have been impossible to break. RRQ, they've been super fantastic on those clean duels. But when we go into the overarching scheme of everything, it's been an absolute perfect match for really OGT.
Honestly, when you look at the MVP here for Casper and Aluka, I am not surprised that both of these players really stepped up. Aluka, I think one of the best things about her is that you give this woman any kind of weapon, this includes the Sheriff, and she will make it work. We see her getting like multi-frags over there against rifles from Orangutan, really a force to be reckoned with. Now on the other side, Casper, I think that her lurks or rather flanks have been really phenomenal when it came to these maps, and the way she plays it is a very interesting situation in my opinion, because every time RRQ pushed out to site, you have already 2 people, especially Chloe, holding on the line, getting those multi-frags, and then by the time her teammates are dwindling down in numbers, Casper is back on the other end just to catch them off guard. So what do you think about these sort of dynamics coming in from Orangutan?
I mean, man, having Casper and honestly best 2 on the side of RRQ, you have Astras like this that are so inclined to playmaking, whether it be individual playmaking or a macro-wide scale. It just makes it so reliable to have a backbone on all those thrifties that both sides, well, more OGT really enjoyed. And RRQ, that momentum, that deadly momentum that they had in the first half of the game is just so scary. One thing that I do have to give credit to RRQ is that they respect OGT's firepower so much, and that when they recognize a numbers advantage, they're just super clean with it. They really did not allow OGT to come back in the first half, but my goodness, just the resilience of both these teams to go the distance is insane.
I mean, when you talk about the first half here, it felt as though it was a back and forth from both teams. It was a tug of war, especially in the first 5 to 6 rounds, I believe, where both teams are sort of going into eco and taking it back. So many thrifties on both teams here. But if you look at the side of the second half here, where it felt like Orangutan was a little bit more dominant. Yes, they lost the first round and second round when it comes to the guns, but as soon as they managed to get the rifles, it was all hands on deck. It was chaining round after round after round. Yes, we finally get to see like RRQ come back after one round, but these adjustments coming back to the conditioning makes it so hard, in my opinion, for RRQ to really figure out which side to hit. Because in the first 3 rounds, it was B empty, 3 on A and 2 on C, and after that they switched it up again. So when it comes to conditioning, why do you think Orangutan is just so good at changing it up?
Once again, it's Zinni being so quick on the response as a rotator. It just makes her Flash omnipresent. It's always there when the retakes come. It's always there to pretty much anchor if she really needed to. And this is an absolute requirement, knowing that RRQ is an absolute behemoth when it comes to firepower, right? But now, this poses the question for RRQ. How can they continue that early streak into the latter rounds, right? Because the closing is just proving to be so difficult, and Orangutan being such a resilient team, making it even that much more challenging.
I think what's more interesting is the fact that Orangutan had an idea in mind on how exactly to take the second half, that defense. I'm not too sure whether or not they've solidified defense onto how they want to play. It's more of like, okay, we're not too strong on attack, that's fine. We solidify our defense, do very well. Remember, this is Orangutan's map pick. Now, as we go into Lotus, this is where it begs the question, right? What has Orangutan prepared for this map? What exactly do they have in mind? Are they preparing to solidify attack or defense? What are they going to do?
I feel like, again, has to be given credit to everybody as a team too, but the way that Japips and Zinni really synchronize on getting that information and then denying the ability for RRQ to get a clean fight and a duel off has been such a huge pivot point for them that I feel like RRQ, they kind of have to try and bait that out first. But I feel like we might be nerding out a little too much, Tosh.
Yeah, we really are. So let's go for a break. And when we come back, we're finally going to see Lotus. And I am super excited for this. More Valorant Game Changers after this. We've seen 2 or 3 9-3 scorelines for our second halves today. But Orangutan managed to make the curse come true here. We are here at the VCT Game Changers Asia Pacific Series 2023 with me, Tash Bunny, alongside Raf, and we are your panelists for today. Now, let's talk a little bit about our second map, our second game for the second series here. This is going to be Lotus. Raf, what is on your mind?
Well, at this moment, dinner could be one of the things on my mind, and the concern for OGT to continue that momentum on that attacking side, because that was probably one of their biggest conundrums on Haven. At least they just couldn't seem to adjust to how RRQ was pressuring them, and this could be the opening that RRQ need to once again revitalize their strategy, because I have to admit, with a loss like that on Haven, it's incredibly heartbreaking.
Yeah, it really was, especially how many rounds were just so very close, and with the, I would say, the large lead they had, going into map number 2 might be the reset that they need. Now, coming into Lotus here, the only references I can make is what I've seen over in VCT Lock-In, and I think that in this situation, a lot of teams that choose this map end up losing, and I think it's because the idea from last year when Pearl first came out was the person who learns Pearl first will be having that upper hand advantage compared to the rest who doesn't pick that map. Now, I think a lot of teams have learned a lot from this, and they're not allowing, and if it's not banned out so early, you can already expect that perhaps while it is not chosen, they might have an upper hand advantage, maybe just call it the bluff from the other team to pick it because they might not have shown what exactly they've learned on the map. Regardless, there are situations where this map is chosen and the other team is just not prepared at all.
That's a great point, Tosh. Again, familiarity is one of the biggest allies, right? Of preparation. And I feel like it's been quite a few weeks since Lotus release anyway, so I feel like a lot of the teams do have an idea on how to play this, but to play this at the most optimal level, maybe not at the moment, and potentially you could be right. This could be the bluff pick, this could be the ultimate size up for RRQ. Now, I will say though, and a bit of a warning, it can go wrong. As you mentioned, every single team that has picked Lotus has pretty much dug their own grave.
Yeah.
But RRQ, I feel like this is super in tune with them because they are an absolute unit when it comes to the offensive side. They just have so much firepower and so much playmaking ability across the board that maybe they're gonna stack up enough rounds to prevent that OGT comeback.
Personally, I think that for Lotus, it's all about taking or I guess catching the people on attack off guard. If you remember on A, especially as you go toward A side, it's a very long area from route to A, and also there's a link from B to A at the same time. Now, I've seen some teams who would go into B, and instead of planting in B, they would go towards C or A. Now, why do they do that? It's because at access from link to the A side and C side. But what do you think? Is there going to be a priority for B side as well as the links, or would it be a fight for main from both teams?
I like that question, because we see B as one of those things. It's similar to Haven, right? Normally in gun rounds, you don't necessarily try to approach B as a primary hit because the range of at least all the gun battles also is very strong for weaker buys. And therefore, teams would like to leverage a little bit more in the longer mains on the side of A main and C main. And just to mention what you said earlier, the biggest value in B is so that teams can rotate super, super quickly, especially on the defensive side. And with that broken door, or whatever the call out for that is, being super potent on, again, potential flanks or just potential plays on the defending team as well. So, again, just so many points of contention for this map. I'm very excited to see the compositions though, Tash, because normally it's like double controller, but then we've seen double initiator on Lotus as well.
Yeah, and I wouldn't be surprised because honestly, there's a lot of wall bangable areas on this particular map, especially toward the rotatable doors on C as well as A. On top of that, talking about map control here, if you have control of B, you also have access to the back of site toward the site of, I would say, the CT spawn site. Now, coming into this personally, I think that the team that was most proactive in terms of taking up space and catching teams off guard would be best, because it also has some elements that is very similar to Fracture, where if say someone is pushing toward A lot of them will be stuck toward root. So this is a situation where some people could push out from B, from C, and just kind of pincer them on main itself. And I think a lot of pincering can happen, and I've seen a lot of players actually just swing out from B, get a pick, and then go back into the site because of how the L-shaped area that is made. But let's have a look at the compositions here, whether or not it's going to be a double initiator, double duelist, or double controller.
Man, maybe even we're gonna see a double sentinel here just to alleviate
Triple
the
duelist,
fact that
let's
there's
do
always...
it.
Oh, you know what? If there is a shield, there's also a sword. Look at that. Yoru
I
and
enjoy
Breach.
that. I like that actually. Now that you think about
Oh my
it, Breach is
goodness.
perfect for that because of the flashes, because of how much, I would say, how annoying it can be and how oppressive he can be. It gives Capricious so much space to rotate in from a different site or different area.
Absolutely, it is the weekend strat, blinding lights. As Orangutan has done so much of that already. Again, I can't help but highlight Zinni. Zinni has just been super active on being that rotator and allowing Orangutan to hold the fort with so much faith. And that could potentially prove a problem against, or rather for RRQ yet again. As you mentioned, Tosh, RRQ, they are a very front-facing team. Everything that they see, they can potentially destroy in one fell swoop.
I don't think I've seen a Yoru picked on Lotus quite yet. If I remember correctly, it's been a lot more for Harbors. I've seen a Chamber there in terms of the unconventional picks. I've seen lineups for a Killjoy. But for now, let's see what exactly Orangutan has in mind and how exactly RRQ will be playing this map. So, BNB and Eliza, take it away.
We are definitely in for a banger match indeed. And I just want to correct, Eliza has passed by because at this hour, at this time, Terror is definitely out. Terror and Black and Blue, by the way, your casters for this series. BNB, we started off with a 9-3 cursed, first of all, but it was a banger of a match. Here on map number 2, where we pull out Lotus, what are your expectations?
First of all, emphasis on the roar in the Terror when it reaches this time of the hour of the evening. But more importantly, going into this, I have big expectations, especially here coming from Orangutan. They're the team that we have seen play this in the past during the Swiss stage, able to beat a team like Sinks 13-4. But it's RRQ who we haven't really been able to see ever play Lotus so far in an official capacity, and that just leaves us wondering, what can they do? So it's a bit more curious here in RRQ, but expectations certainly in OGT.
Anyway, already an initiation towards the side of Orangutan here. Nabsky shutting down Capricious. That the Yoru pick that we have right now. It's still a 5v3 situation. Zinni, though, did a bit of a delay here, especially with the aftershock coming in on the site. They still have to plant the spike, and so far for RRQ,
down. C.
little of a holdback, I would say, until the spike is planted.
Difficult scenario for them to get that spike plant down. 2v3, so as soon as he taps the spike, they can be aware of that retake potential. Denied it though, they know it's not stuck for the meantime. Here comes then out the recon. That should have been their opportunity to maybe get the plant on down, but without a kill, this is going to be nigh impossible. The peeps being flooded here. Could maybe get the kill on the Best, but still Best wins it out up close, even with low HP. And RRQ get the opening round.
It was winnable at some point. They still have time here, at least 40 seconds to plant the spike. But nevertheless, just good delays coming in on the side. Utility-wise, we got aftershocks. We got good kills, good impactful kills coming in from RRQ. And at the same time, you can see the decision-making here from RRQ to not push in as the spike is not yet planted. Instead, alleviate the pressure that you're giving and really wait for that plant. At least making things a 1v nothing, you know?
Yeah, that's a really good point. I like that you brought that up, Liza. The alleviation of the
Terror.
pressure.
It's a red
Terror,
9.
sorry.
Yeah.
Emphasis on the roar at this time of the evening. Yeah, like, to alleviate that pressure, that's exactly what RRQ need to do. We saw that be their biggest struggle on Haven many times on over, right? When Orangutan were on the defense, that is when that became just a big problem for them. And so the same value, the same intent has to be applied here by Orangutan. They're the ones to do it to RRQ last game. And so they know how to do it in return this time around.
Exactly what I was also thinking about. But now, you see, on the defense, again, RRQ, this aggressiveness that they're showing right now, it seems like Orangutan cannot answer back at all. And we've seen this during map number 1, that the defense is really aggressive and it pays off alongside, especially with Aloka and Ayumi yet again on the initiator and doing this combination. But look at this, the entry from the players of Orangutan really storming in onto B site here. One man down already, that's Best. That's the controller agent that we have.
Well, that's going to be a difficult case, right? If you're Orangutan, at the very least, RRQ gets another kill here. A second for Aloka as they completely sweep on over B upper, the last remaining position. Played by the peeps. Recon comes on out, but there's no way she swings this safely. They get the second round with some damage done. The plant giving them economy here for Orangutan, but RRQ, rightfully so, convert the round.
Also like how Aloka peeked through, knowing they didn't have a smoke anymore, nor a blind as well to play around with for that specific peek. She really tried to get the angle diff towards the side of Orangutan, and she managed to pull it off, managing to get 2 kills even on that swing that we saw, or that little bit of a peek that we saw. Anyway, 2-0 is what we have right now. Orangutan, on the other hand, this is going to be their first buy round, as we can see. At least they were able to capitalize on the 2 kills, making things a little bit difficult for RRQ, especially on a broken buy. But with the amount of thrifty rounds we saw a while ago, I just don't know what to expect.
Well, I think I can expect something here. It's only the unexpected at this point. As we've been seeing thrifty round after thrifty round be thrown
Right there.
to asunder during that opening game, that opening map here of the series, where teams, both of these sides, RRQ and Orangutan, were winning back and forth. I think that was an attempt for a one-way that just dropped here, coming from RRQ's defense, but still it holds back Orangutan, so it might not have worked out initially, but the intent in the end works out the same.
You never know. It's all part of the plan, dude. You just never know. With the fault line settling in, they want to try and put the paint shells also onto the A main, or rather, onto A rubble right here, right now. OGT punishing players left and right. This aggressive positioning, this aggressive defense. If it was paying off a while ago, definitely not on this round.
Well, I'm not too hopeful for
Spike
RRQ
planted.
in this round, but maybe Alexa can do some damage here. Difficult to win the
Last
fight
player
at this
standing.
range with a Spectre. She does get the dank, but Casper just simply has way too big of an advantage. Nabsky can maybe nab herself something in this round. but I'm not expecting too much. That's the one. That's the second. Okay, on the low HP. And the opposing Killjoy ruins the fun here for Nabsky. They get the round. Bonus, not too successful, but not too shabby either.
In short, she didn't let her cook.
Yep, not this time.
She didn't cook. Anyway, that was 2-1 as we were expecting, especially after the kills coming in from A Rubble. After getting kills towards Ayumi and Aluka, the aggressive positioning yet again, punish. Like I said, with the two teams that we have, you just don't know what to expect. A while ago, we thought it was going to be a fast game, but they brought us almost to an overtime. And now, with a Yoru pick on a pocket strat like this, the stun, or rather the flash, settles in, but the kill doesn't. 1-1 trade, or rather 2-1 trade right here.
Okay. Shots connecting on the other side. They're trying to take this Rebel control away, but RRQ doing a good job of keeping them at bay. Chloe, that's a great trade she finds, a great pick rather. And now they have some space to work with. Now they have a bit more to go off of. The rotation here, off that flank being pulled. They know that Casper was trailing on there as the cross does come on in. Iceberg lets go of the angle. Knows that they have to play the retake in this case. You can see the sight being given on up. The scan, perfect as well. It identifies Aluka in her position. Now the post goes down. Casper gets a kill. That's huge.
Good catch from Casper right there. Especially, it's just so sudden. Now, with another swing coming in from Aluka. She managed to get a kill yet again. Nabsky, all the way from flank. This is a 1v3 situation. She managed to take on 2 initial kills a while ago, trying to make a retake happen. And it can happen again. This time, she has a Vandal. And this time, everyone is just chilling on tree. The problem is, this is going to be triple peak. But look at this, the first kill settles in. Again, vulnerability, good execution coming in from Orangutan. They know their strengths, they know their utilities.
Yeah, they were just way too placed in there towards the tree. And this opening fight here by Orangutan, for this kill, this one, Chloe, to get that down to a 3v3 was huge. Casper almost gets timing there, but still wins out on in the end. And to have just such a reliable piece of lurk presence here, if you're Orangutan, that just buys up so much more space on the map, so much more to work with. And we're seeing Orangutan benefit from that heavily.
Moving forward though, RRQ, they're on an eco here. Only sheriffs onto their hands. And this might be obviously pickoffs after pickoffs yet again. If so, we are bound for an exciting round we're looking at. But yet again, you have that disadvantage already. And knowing that you only have the guns or the sheriffs that we have right here, you really gotta fight and you really gotta make each shot count. They know there's a TP there from the Yoru. That's gonna be capricious, already going in and punching on the side. No one to see here because RRQ is giving space.
Yeah, it's a punch that's difficult to defend. But Yoru able to take so much space. You're gonna have to give up sight a lot of these times, otherwise be caught on out blind. They know that CD presence is there, but here comes the Rolling Thunder off the hold. Zinni capitalizes off her own utility. Lockdown place here by the defending side, but I think that's ultimately mute. I don't think this is a good idea. Aluka left alone in this case, finds a 1 kill, and gets knifed in the face! Capricious! Bit of Tondo gaming here.
Didn't know she's also from here, dude. And finally, what we were expecting anyway, coming in from the Orangutan team. Every possible opportunity to take on the knife kills will be there. 3-2. And what a shot coming in from Chloe, honestly. Such a good anchor on that pulse plant position. Not only that, she's been hitting her shots more and more the time pass.
Chloe had a bit more of a quieter game during the first map, but now certainly looking pretty alive. Both Killjoys, really. But, I mean, I'm curious that neither side really pulls out the Neon, which we have seen be very prevalent, during, the opening stages of the VCT. And it's going for the Yoru pick, I think, is a big confidence check here for Orangutan. And to make it work out so far in this opening half is already pretty impressive, but I want to see what do they do now with the utility on Capricious, with that ult of hers. Now they got the ability to just take up so much information and control.
Very big, honestly, and like you said, risky, but shows dominance, you know? And if they're willing to pull out a Yoru here, this is probably the first time I'm casting with a Yoru on Lotus. So, I'm happy. I want to see the plays, so why not? Right? So anyway, back to the game as we start off yet again. And now we are seeing it being used. This is gonna be complete intel. They know where to go. Just shoot me. Just hit me with the Hunter's Fury. But it still doesn't hit. Aluka right here. She was blinded. And finally the kill settles in.
Dangerous scenario here. Flash on out. Can go dismiss out of it, but Nabsky still wins out the fight. Capricious there. A bit hasty in her attempt, but does get a kill out of it. They have the showstopper to utilize. They also have that from the shadows. How do they use it? As a whole, just pretty settled on in. Paranoia here towards the link. Gonna be difficult to dismantle. Japeep's on the ready to try and help her out.
I love the hold when it comes to this Cosmic Divide. Ayumi, though, really punishing someone with that showstopper. That's gonna be Japeep's out. It's a 3v2. They have to make a retake happen, and so far is working out in their favor. Unfortunately, one by one, they all falter yet again. Orangutan, they still managed to take out the round here. Black and Blue, despite this ulti, this ult from the Yoru, really giving them the guidance to just hit the Hunter's Fury here, not getting the kill, but they still managed to pull it off.
I thought that could have been it here. Coming in. But yet, with the time ticking, the post-plant hold from Orangutan, way too good. And I think coming into this map, into this series even, Terror,
Yeah.
with a rolling R. Orangutan were the underdogs, I think, looking at it, but then they're the ones looking really good so far.
Not only the Rolling R is ready, but the Rolling Thunder as well. So we've seen RRQ use that despite being on the eco round, but look at this. Very aggressive push, one and done position, I would honestly say, but this is a shotgun onto the faces of Orangutan. Only one though, but Aluka going away with a kill.
Able to back off here, Aluka, after the pick. They have a Rolling Thunder available on her, but I don't wager they're going to use that too preemptively, or they shouldn't at the very least, unless they have a good hold on things. Maybe if they get a pick off. Oh, that goes right under her in time, so they don't know of that position. Fakes on out, the gate crash. It's B they want to go for, but the turret alerts them to that.
At least Aluka knew it was a fake. That's important for the rest of the team. This makes them allow to rotate more confidently as well. RRQ. Whoa, one tap to the head from Bess. Maybe going for another, but Chloe yet again crisp on the shots here. 2v1 Napsky. Oh, what? She managed to pick it up. Still 1v1, and she still pulls it off. What a round! Napsky really taking it to another level. 3-4.
She's been a reliable source of fragging and stability here so far for this RRQ squad when they've been lacking that type of player to step on up. She fills in those shoes so well. Aluka did a good job here to get that kill too as well, enabling them to utilize it best. A frag being found just help equalize things a bit more. She did so much in that, not just in kills, but in utility. They found out about that B take early because of her turret being there in the first place.
Exactly. They got info, they got intel, and they were not only that, honestly, even if you get everything in and properly know what the location or the intel is for Orangutan's side, you have to hit your shots. And they managed to pull that off with Sheriffs. We've seen it from Bess, we've seen it from Ayumi, Aluka, and now Napsky stepping up to the plate here. And so far for RRQ, we can definitely see how each player shines through as a player, you know? But they just couldn't close a game like what we saw a while ago.
And isn't that the thing? It doesn't ultimately always matter how you start. But really what it comes down to is how you end, as a technical pause is how we're going to stay for the meantime. Oh, look, it's one of those bears. They make it this far. I thought they were
right?
in nice
Tacti
box.
Bear, right?
Yeah, the Tacti Bear.
Technical pause means technical podcasts coming in from the casters. So hopefully everyone who's
Casters
watching
start the
right now,
game.
casters start the game. It's time. Press 1 if you're rooting for RRQ. Press 2 if you're gang. Do we have here Orangutan?
Was that your orangutan impression?
Yeah, dude. I saw it in chat. I had to do it, you know? So let us know
I think
your
we're
thoughts.
we're getting out of hand here.
Oh, sorry. I told you it's terror time.
They
you know?
roar. Right.
Yeah.
Well, at
Sorry,
least in the
guys.
morning, I have someone else to blame, not Eliza. No, they roar.
Yeah.
All right. Well,
Exactly.
we got some time to talk about here. Really, RRQ, right? And
Yeah,
really,
I
I
heard
think-
you're a biased caster. Who's
oh
your
yeah, totally
bias?
right. Let's go, team. Which
Let's
team?
go,
That's up
team.
to you to decide. But
Whoever it
Aren't you
is,
as
you
well?
think, go ahead.
aren't you as well? Aren't you the
Oh,
biased
yeah.
caster?
I'm a biased caster.
Oh, right.
Yeah.
Yes, yes.
Anyway.
Yeah. We go to the
Anyway-
round. Wow, quick. Okay.
Oh, okay. Yumi realized it was a fake out.
Yep. I'm surprised that thing didn't pop and, blind her. But
Yeah. At the same time, she had a mistake. She was going for that verticality, but ended up beside rubble. So,
oh yeah. Mistakes made,
all
mistakes
part
happen.
of the plan.
Oh, for sure. That was scripted.
Time
This
to
isn't
jump.
script though. I think is RRQ. Kind of struggling here so far. There's their map pick, by the way, here on Lotus.
Oh, I know, right? And again, this can be a pocket map for everyone here, especially starting off here on Dragons. Now with Best getting one kill though. No trades off as Iceberg pulls away from the site. They would rather go for that man advantage already, especially they were able to pick up 2 kills.
Well,
I
Alika
have this
making
fight.
sure they
Last
don't
player
willy-nilly
standing.
push into that CT. That she does. The Guardian keeps the door closed. And Alika keeps the game closer
Come
even.
on, get me in the
4 to
line of
4.
fire.
RRQ tie the game on up. They still have the Rolling Thunder, which they've been holding on to for multiple rounds now here. Terror.
They do. They're not yet sure when to use it. And so far, we're seeing a timeout here. It's a tie scoreline, nevertheless. But I also like seeing timeouts, you know? Sometimes casters talk about a lot of stuff. Maybe they do a timeout to talk about strats. But honestly, sometimes they just want to go pee. They just want to have a break, you know?
I would
This is
say you
how
could
I
have a
use my
break.
overtime, you know? When I play in FSL, I just
Alright.
tell my team, like, can we go overtime?
Oh,
I
yeah.
need to drink water.
Aren't you a game changer?
Yeah, and we lost. So now you know why I'm casting.
Well, I hope in that case they add timeout to our ranked games in
Yeah,
case you
yeah,
need
true.
to go number 1 or 2.
Number 3, number 4, whatever number it is.
What would that be?
Maybe
through the
it's a
front
different
hole.
language in another universe, another world. You just never know.
You never know. Well,
Who's
the only
watching,
language-
right? Yesterday we have
Oh.
Capybara, so
Yeah.
gotta include everyone.
Capybara. Did they win their game today? Let me check.
See, the chat is really saying 1 and 2. They're following us. Thank you for listening, chat.
Look at all the fans in chat. Shout out to you guys for being ever lovable for the most part. But we go on over to the attacking side once more here of Orangutan. Very mixed buy from them. They get the kill off the trade here from Bess, and Ayumi's able to get another one. A second kill going towards Ayumi's way. And they're holding down to this. Very difficult to try and push in from that mound. This Iceberg, she's the one who knocks. It's her. She's the deadliest force of this squad. And Chloe gets another before being taken down. Ayumi gets a final in RRQ. They take a round swiftly.
Black and blue. I just closed my eyes. What just happened here? Complete, utter push towards the players and really a fight out here onto C main. In the end, RRQ won the engagement as well. despite the disadvantage, knowing Orangutan has RRQ, still not closing, or rather, still not having that big of a gap they had from game number 1 that they would want here on a map pick that they have. But this is good news towards the side of Orangutan. Only one game they need before they pull, or rather move on to the brackets.
Well, it is an upper bracket match, so whoever loses this still has a second chance in a lower bracket, but it's never a position you want to be placed in, especially when you're one of the favorites to win this entire split, right? So, Bess, lots of pressure applied on her. Has to be careful of the push here. Could be ratted into place, and Capricious still wins at up close.
For the side take, we have a Cosmic Divide here. Capricious spotted out, but they have to move out from this ult coming in from the Killjoy. RRQ really waiting for that timing as well. They know there's someone close by as the alarm bot got dropped. It's gonna be Chloe as the first contact here. Aluka using the Rolling Thunder finally, but not paying off. Ayumi with a showstopper managed to pick up on one 3v2 situation. RRQ! They still want to make this retake happen, making things 2-2.
Oh yeah, able to dissuade that even after the Rolling Thunder here comes on to play. 2v2, and that Mount Plant is so difficult to try and dismantle. Zinni gets a final kill, and Orangutan tie up the game. It's a back and forth here, Taylor, with nobody giving up any ground.
I know, right? And despite so much utility smokes as well, that we can see, it's just trades after trades. It's not we're getting a majority of the kills towards one person, but it's really everyone working their way, paving their way into really making this either post-plant or a retake happen. It's a very close fight what we have right here, and it's a 5-5. This time around, Black and Blue on the defense itself, they were able to use, again, the Rolling Thunder a while ago. They're left with still a Hunter's Fury here, and from the shadows, and even a lockdown.
Lots of utility, as you put it here. A lot on the menu.
Who's next?
But which one do they bite upon? Iceberg goes down, and that's a big pick here to find for Orangutan. That is the main information gathering player of RRQ, taking off the board on the defense. These picks are falling either way, a bit off screen. Ayumi gets that kill. The Boombot alerts him towards Capricious' way, and she's able to get out of it unscathed.
The problem with that was that Zinni wasn't supposed to die there. Fortunately for Capricious, it was just about the timing. She wasn't able to see the raise, or Ayumi to be exact, but so far, it's all again down to Aluka to make something happen. This Recon will spot her away, and it's a fight for her life. I thought she was gonna get a double there, but Casper to finish things off 5-6. We're almost closing in onto the halftime here, Black and Blue, and so far it's been really close.
You can see there Japeeps at the end wanted to go for a knife of her own, just like her teammate did, Capricious, a while ago. She's been notorious for bringing a knife to a gunfight and making it work.
My god. 5-6. I don't know which way this is gonna go, because honestly, for RRQ, this is their pick. At the same time, you're expecting that on the defense, they're much of a better team, because we've seen them drop it in the middle of the game in offenses and or on the attackers. So quite surprising to see, and that just goes to show how strong Orangutan is so far right now in this tournament.
Well, as of the meantime, that's strength that they've been able to flex many times over versus other teams here, RRQ. Not able to do it against Orangutan, who just seemed in their best form than ever. Best gets that catch on to Chloe, who's lurking here towards mid. As the flank comes on in, this is going to be able to take away that B main presence. They don't have B upper, but as long as Napsky can stay alive here in CT, this could be huge. Ayumi gets the catch and the read here on the Japips. It's a 5v3.
They want to go onto the side here, make the retake happen. Best already tapping in the spike, and it's already halfway, honestly. No initiation from Orangutan. The spike is just gonna get defused just like that. No punishment from the players of Orangutan. It's already too late as they realize it's already diffused. 6-6. Black and Blue. This round wasn't supposed to go the way of OGT.
You blink and you miss it. Not even recognizing that was coming into play. RRQ just letting it slip there on the objective. Lots of things to say about this, but I think our panel's got something to do and something to say about it. So how you guys doing?
Doing really good, Black and Blue. Thank you so much for asking. As we are here on the second half, about to swap to the second half map rather, for Orangutan versus RRQ Kaguya, and this is going to be Lotus. Now, there is a lot I want to talk about for this map in particular, but the most important thing I really want to highlight here is that Yoru pick from Capricious.
I completely agree because as we've seen from this map and RRQ, they've been very, very good at taking those direct fights. We saw so many mount pushes be denied by just sheer presence alone. And with a Yoru pick, I feel like Orangutan had a lot of chances to use that maneuverability to their advantage. We saw it, I believe, as round 10, where they did go into that Yoru ult. And despite Zinni falling, they still got overall a successful round. But RQ, despite everything that's been happening in a surprise pick, they have been holding on valiantly. It is still pretty even with 6-6. Now, I'm curious how they're going to pan out this aggression and how it's going to translate on the defending side, Tash.
Yeah, on the defending side, I think that for Orangutan, they've been doing really well. I mean, on attack. And I think that another thing that's really good about it is the fact that you mentioned about Yoru being able to go into the ult and just give a lot of information. And on top of that, I think that the ults, I mean the teleports, the fakes or not, have been giving a lot of value for Orangutan as well. The fakes, as well as I would say sometimes Capricious would just teleport in front of someone, catch them off guard, and just shoot them in their faces. Now, there are a lot of situations where there are band-aids, band-aid picks, I would say, from Napski especially, when things go really hard. I felt like from the last match all the way till here, Napski stepping up and getting those multi-frags and going in for clutches. I'm really curious to see whether or not she will be able to maintain that as we go into the second half. So, Taylor and BNB, let's go.
Well, right back into it, aren't we? We are going into the second half. Could be the final half here, RRQ. If they can't finally get a grip on the situation, it's been slipping on some rounds that it shouldn't be, like we saw from a while ago in the 5v3, just being overrun.
You have to be really careful and really wary when it comes to this post plants multiple times. The times I've casted here in Game Changers, it has happened a lot that someone just diffuses and no one really looking around or actually realizing that someone is actually sticking the spike. And they have here the audacity to do that. So you have to be really wary. 6-6, a good half is what we have. Really tie-ups or a really close fight. Ayumi to pounds on Capricious here, but a good indirect trade from Chloe on mid.
It's a big pig here. The fact that they were able to drop Alika though, and we know just how hot-handed a player she has been throughout that opening map 1. They get a lot of the utility taken away from RRQ, but yeah, losing Capricious is also a big pick in that regard. No more gate crash to just suddenly take back sight. They know the turret is here. Once they cross the precipice of it, it's going to be alerted, so they're choosing their options very carefully. If they continue towards A, it seems to be the case.
They're just trying to check on that positioning as well. Maybe get info if there's anyone to kill or anyone who's actually waiting patiently. Anyway, it's a 4v4 and the retake bound to happen as players from OGT or Orangutan already going around and wrapping around themselves against the players of RRQ. One on the flank, and that's gonna be Casper. Big hit if ever, but right now it's about this duo making their way, paving their way. Zinni to start things off as a kill onto Best lands. Iceberg on the other hand goes down. It's all Ayumi, and now Chloe really hot on the trigger here. Black and Blue, she's really stepping up to the table.
All right, Taylor. Orangutan just really so clean in many of the rounds, attacking or in this case defending. The opening pick here on the catch by Casper and Chloe, huge. And then the fact that they were able to kill that player on towards the rubble, on towards A long, just allowed them to circumvent a lot of the defensive holds and focus in on the anchors within that post plant of the site. And that is what Orangutan have been so good in doing, playing as a team, using their pieces to its fullest extent.
It's like watching players play chess. You know, they have the chess pieces right at the exact moment where they want them to be. And they're going in for that checkmate against RRQ. And so far, it's been working wonders here. An eco round for RRQ as they lost the pistol. And Orangutan's side, all they need to do is basically just wait and spray down. Let's see what RRQ will do on this entry, though. Might be able to catch some of the players.
We have to witness for ourselves. Orangutan ready here to stop this push from RRQ. Look at all the utility they have onto this. The alarm bot sends off and alerts those nano swarms to be popped. And forces the rotation here through the doors in the mound from the Orangutan, or on the RRQ side rather, by Orangutan. But they're ready for this as well. They know to anticipate it. The defense rotating now to try and back up the push.
They have a turret waiting as well just behind Chloe here. Gives info. Anyway, if there's any certain rotations that they wouldn't like.
Right here.
Japeeps, on the other hand, just really holding the angles here
30
on
seconds
pulse. She knows it's going to be a C plant, and that's how the rotation here right now for Orangutan is working. This flash settles in. It actually hits, but Chloe, again, hot on the trigger here. One by one for RRQ. It's all up to Bess. Yet again, one player remaining for the side of RRQ.
Gives herself on up. There's no way she wins this. Look at this. They're even trying to knife her once more. Clean round once again from Orangutan. And just having the right read on the situation is an underappreciated, but also at the same time very difficult skill to try and attain. Sometimes it's your day, sometimes it ain't. It ain't looking to be RRQ so far, but they have a gun round to play here. Rifles abound for them. The type of rounds they need to convert in this case. Ultimate for Ayumi almost up online.
Ayumi just needs one orb or one kill to actually have that showstopper, making things at least more heavy on the duel here, and a little bit scarier for sure. As soon as the here comes the party comes out, everyone just hides or they fight. Depends whoever the team is playing. But anyway, a brand new round is what awaits us. First buy round from RRQ's side.
Well, this is what they've got to work with at least. To get that orb into control, showstopper available if they really want to press the issue here. And that's what exactly they're going to be doing. Gravity Well keeps her in place. Look at the catch. Still, Japeeps doesn't get the kill. I thought that certainly would have been it. But the Yumi is able to come out of it with that control. Trade on, but it's towards Nabsky, who opens the door and finds an opportunity to get a kill.
Still connected completely. That showstopper still worth 4v4 situation right now. Orangutan, they know when it comes to firepower, they have to play close range with the Spectres to actually have a good spray down. As Aluka is planting the spike, I don't know how they're gonna do an entry here. They don't have the flash right now, but Chloe swings out with the help of the smoke. Unfortunate for her, she didn't get the kill, and now it's all up to one yet again. Zinni to go down, and RRQ successfully taking a side here, especially on their buy round. Not too far off, especially only 2 kills from their team.
Yeah, nicely done here on the stop. RRQ, but they do burn the showstopper at the very least. If you're Orangutan, that's what you have to take away from this. It's not a round you're expected to win anyways, and to be able to burn that showstopper gives them much more viable chance of winning the subsequent rounds afterwards.
Right there.
Capricious hasn't necessarily been finding herself, you know, the most, I guess, bountiful map so far here on this Yoru. But I'm looking to see if that is going to change soon, because the defensive side is where the Yoru typically can be a bit more of a liability. Ayumi gets a kill, and that's exactly what we're talking about.
Nowhere to go and nowhere to TP out, I would say, for Capricious here. 5v4. And moving forward for Orangutan, they don't have the duel. They still have very important players here, especially the Lace coming in from them. Japeeps, she knows there's gonna be people here on trees. She managed to pick up on one, and one is actually stuck on tree. It's gonna be Zinni taking the cover. They managed to pull off 3 kills here. 2v3 situation right now. RRQ, Bess and Nabsky pushing in through the side. They got the spike dropped around A main, but Bess is clearing things up here.
Bess is, what's her name? Potentially the best friend right now of RRQ. Many of her lurks and of her pushes here silently have been gaining them advantages, and that's a good catch. And a third here for Bess. RRQ tie up the game. And my oh my, Best delivers.
She's been a good anchor for the team, and so far, the positionings that she shows upon the maps that we're looking at, upon the maps that I've casted since I casted it yesterday, it's been phenomenal. She is taking kills that are actually impactful, that can open up sites, that can open more opportunities for RRQ to work around with, especially on in a sense where they're not in a good point or a good side. 8-8, B&B, anything can go, honestly.
Yeah, and Bess, always reliable, has always been that controller on their side here. Even, you know, beforehand, back then, in the rotation, she would be that source of sustainability midway through a series that would just get them quality frags and quality looks and opportunities. So Orangutan here, forced on the eco. We saw many a thrifty round still be converted throughout this series by either side, especially by Orangutan. And that has been something that the RRQ have been struggling with. Luckily in this case for RRQ, Casper doesn't get the catch that time, but almost did.
He as well, it was a pistol for the team of OGT, or else that would have been a kill, especially being caught off guard like that. Ayumi and Aluka covering angles here left and right. 9-8 as Iceberg gets the kill onto Japeeps. Turning tides around. RRQ this time, they're on the lead here, but just by 1 point so far.
It's not one they can comfortably sit on just yet for sure. Can't get too complacent though, Taylor, as we talked about. As a timeout is called by Orangutan here, I think this is the perfect time to do so. This is your rifle round. You have ultimates to utilize. But this does telegraph what can they do with it? Orangutan. I guess the immediate answer here would be to play for that retake. You know there's a lockdown. But they also have initiating tools in that Hunter's Fury. But the big question is here.
Right there.
How do you deal
Right
with
there.
the counteracting Iceberg's Hunter's Fury? Knowing the lockdown's there.
True that. Some point, some degree, something has to burn. You know, it's either the Hunter's Fury from RRQ or OGT. No matter what it is, just imagine Chloe putting a lockdown down and Iceberg killing the lockdown with a Hunter's Fury and Japeeps reacting to it, because she would know exactly where the Hunter's Fury would come from. Can be also possible, you know? So it just depends on how they want to use up those utilities. Especially for Orangutan, they're quite aware that there's a Hunter's Fury, and that can eliminate the lockdown quite quickly. At RRQ, on the other hand, I would say from the previous games that we saw, they're not the type of team to actually use that up or the Hunter's Fury up just to get a kill on or just to punish the lockdown. So let's see.
They certainly have some space-making tools here, especially when you got Ayumi to take that B site. It's very curious that they go for that B site, knowing the lockdown is available in Cosmic Divide as well. So this will be a very curious hold. They have that waterfall, which I think is a big point. If you have that waterfall, it's going to make it a lot more difficult to make that lockdown as viable and as useful as it could be. They have the turret for the B pillar hold as well. They don't necessarily have to go and check this, but they're playing this pretty deep. Iceberg wants to have that long control so that she can use her Hunter's Fury, but the information has been given away now. Iceberg has to win this fight towards that pillar. Here comes an out to push. They know the lockdown's being placed. Ayumi gets that kill. Ayumi finds a second, and Iceberg gets a third here as well. They cut down Capricious, and this allows him the space for the Hunter's Fury and deny that lockdown. It pops, but ultimately enough. It's a 4v1 with Japips all alone.
Now it's just a waiting game for the rest of Team RRQ. They know Japeeps cannot push this any longer, any further, as time trickles down yet again for the spike to detonate. 10-8, RRQ. 2 rounds advantage against Orangutan here. And so far with this round that we saw, no matter how much we try to assume how they're gonna use their utility, it still didn't happen, you know? They immediately pulled off the Hunter's Fury from Japeeps to try and stop the push. Didn't hit really towards the side of RRQ. In the end, the push, or rather the aggressiveness from Ayumi paid off. Like you said, it was important to take Waterfall in that sense.
That waterfall, as we talked about, that was a big point. The fact that they were able to take it so decisively and quickly without burning
With a
too much
punishment,
utility.
yeah.
That just gave them so much more control, and that's why the lockdown as well there in the defensive Orangutan side just wasn't as, I guess, effective as they were hoping.
True that. Let's see how they're gonna adjust on the following rounds as we move forward. We're looking at Capricious having a Vandal here. Some of the players, some Stingers, Frenzies, and Sheriff. Aside from that, they still have a Rolling Thunder. And it all depends on how this map or this round will play out. The thing is, for these two teams, I've noticed as well, despite the disadvantages on the guns itself, if they must, they will use and pull out those utilities just to really go head up against players of RRQ. Napski already getting an initial pick off here towards Casper. That's a good pick, as especially is a smoker that we have.
Yeah. No more smokes there to cut up those sight lines. Capricious finds a kill here in Nabsky. That's huge too in return. Be able to get that trade, bring it forward to 4, retrieve the rifle. They have the Rolling Thunder on either side, as he talked about, to throw out for this post plan. How do they use it? Here comes on out. Dimensional drift. They have to get value out of this. They pick the Yoru for this exact reason. They know 3 are here. Flashes on out. Pushes come into play. But the Rolling Thunder catches them all, and so does the Peeps with a double! Aluka! Only good for the one. Ayumi gets another in the trade. 1v2. The time is still ticking, though. They're running out of it really quickly. Ayumi can deny this. She can stay alive and get a kill. This is going to be huge, and that she does. Zinni goes down and wins the third versus the Peeps. RRQ go up 11-8.
It was already going to the side of Orangutan right here, especially after that Rolling Thunder. Those pickoffs from behind. Such a good use, especially with the dimensional drift. But in the end, Ayumi yet again. Prowess. When it comes to the duel, the queen, as Azurai would say, Ayumi with a double kill here, 11-8. What a round indeed, and what an attacking side that RRQ has so far right now. They're really fighting for their life at this point. You can see it's not comfortable for them, but they're fighting their life.
Who would be comfortable in this situation, Taylor? There's so much being done here by RRQ on the pressure side. Orangutan are struggling. Capricious trying to go and press the pace. But that's where I said on the defense that Yoru can be a liability a lot of times. And we're seeing that come into effect here for Orangutan.
Slowly but surely, RRQ, they know they got an initial pick-off. They know they have the man disadvantage. They don't want to give that away. As this A-Link is already wide open as they take in on B side here. Turret as the first contact, and Casper, just a perfect opportunity to take the shot in, but good flanks coming in from RRQ as Napski wraps around behind. Chloe, though, was able to pick up on 1 kill yet again. This lockdown will push out the enemies on the back lines.
Yeah, but big thing here is that Aluka still has her Rolling Thunder, so when the retake does come on in, she can throw that out. The Peeps has to be careful here. Cannot be the first contact. Has to let that CT push make the information gathered. She gets a kill anyways. Recon for the close. She knows another is here. They know they can pincer and trap potentially Bess. They get the kill on the Nabski, confirming where Bess is here towards the link. Faking out the TP. They can stick this towards the half and have some time to play with afterwards. Bess, in a difficult situation, gets a kill and a double for Bess! A quad at the end in RRQ! Take match point!
This is the second time around Black and Blue, left with a 2v1 situation in RRQ. They still managed to make it work. That's what I was saying a while ago, that if Ayumi didn't step up to the plate this time, no worries, Bess is there. If not, it's gonna be Napski. If not, it's gonna be Aluka. This is just superstars upon superstars stacked together. But yet again, sometimes they just drop the ball. But once they work as a unit like this and they're really getting aggressive and really pushy, and you get uncomfortable, this is the time they really pounce on you.
Well, this is the map pick of RRQ. And Wonder looking to deliver in to extend this into map number 3. Shall we go into it? Does OGT answer back here finally when the going gets tough? They have a Cosmic Divide to try and make that mount plant, post plant more difficult. Chloe gets a kill on the Ayumi, pushing forward. They burn the Rolling Thunder a bit early to try and gain some semblance of control, but all the kills are falling towards Orangutan's way. And RRQ, they are going down here in this round. No way they come out of it. Orangutan, hold on for another.
So many duels we have to look out for, but obviously Ayumi being vulnerable like that, as soon as she stepped onto the smoke, Chloe knew exactly how she would play it out. RRQ would disrespect a smoke like that, and they knew it. And Orangutan really paved the way here. 12 to 8 is, or 12 to 9 is what we have right here. It's not yet over. And despite having a match point here for RRQ, you have to secure it completely. Again, multiple times they've dropped it, even in game number 1, 9-3. And this is the time that they want to take it to map number 3, right?
I mean, certainly it should be, right? This is where Orangutan need to hold on down. Don't let this get to that third map. Don't let this go the distance. Because RRQ, they're looking pretty sharp so far from the shadows here. They gather information and reposition, but if you want to talk about ultimates, it's Orangutan who have the more high impact ones available. They can use that to play the post plant effectively.
Especially that lockdown as well. And at the same time, they know, they feel for the side of RRQ, it's full of traps, you know. On B side, there's turrets, but as you can, or alarm bots or nano swarms, but as you can see, they just try to break it off and just play it slowly and surely, knowing this is going to be shotguns after shotguns as well. And it's possible as RRQ tries to plant right now, smoking off city sides here. Casper waiting desperately inside the smoke. Maybe she can find one, but not really. No one really pushing. Cosmic Divide already pulled out here, coming in from the side of RRQ, or rather from OGT.
Ayumi gets that kill. Big pick for them to find. Look at the transfer here from Bess. Gets detained, but she's done some damage. 4v2. The plant, the time is ticking. In a very difficult spot. The flash comes on in. Capricious not ready. Could get the double kill. That she does, but the time is done. And RRQ gain themselves a third round to fight back for.
A very, very close fight is what we got right here. From the first half, 6-6. We finished things off there. And then once the attack, or rather the swap of the sides happen, knowing how aggressive RRQ plays, knowing how Aloka-Yumi combination is very deadly as well, they were able to play out around that. Not only that, but obviously this time around, they were able to close things off. Not really letting go of that overtime, not letting go of even the match point. And again, congratulations to RRQ, and it seems like it's gonna be a long night still, as we are gonna be going on to map 3 later on, BNB.
Yeah, one more here for the record books to go into it. It's certainly a hype series to deliver, and there are many things I think about that Yoru pick that I think could have been done better. Maybe if they enabled a bit more on those defensive pushes towards the rubble, as like what we saw a while ago, that liability that it could be coming into effect earlier on. But I think the panelists get a bit more to say about this, so I'm going to throw this to Tash and Raph. How you guys doing? What you think?
We have a lot to think about. Thank you very much, Taylor, as well as BNB, as we go into the second match here. A great comeback by RRQ. Not comeback, rather a recovery there from RRQ. From coming from a push and pull situation to a dominating lead. This is something that is, I think that's definitely we need to talk about here. Now, coming into the first half, I think that Orangutan had great map control and great retakes. But I think that the multi-frags from Napsky as well as the Band-Aid clutches from Ayumi have been phenomenal. What do you think, Raph?
That being said, right, again, there was a lot of bailout and all-star play on the side of RRQ, and I feel like them going 6-6 on the halftime was a definite worrying sign on OGT side. But just to highlight RRQ's lethality and attack also, I mean, early on they had so many high-value kills. They got the controller first, and removing Casper's presence and just ability to play make offer utility made it so difficult to isolate those duels. Those fair, clean duels without the smokes were few and far between for OGT. And I do definitely agree with what you said earlier, and as well as BNB's. I would say side note on that Yoru pick, there could have been so much more that could have been done with all his utility and just the nature of the kit, you know, deception. But the numbers will bring a lot of clarity as we pull out the scoreboard.
Yeah, coming into this, Chloe and Ayumi will be at the top of the board here. Now, Chloe, I'm not surprised. Her multi-frags have been amazing, and she's, I would say, an unmovable force for Orangutan, especially when it comes to holding down the line, anchoring the site. She's been doing such a great job. Now, for Ayumi, I think that in this match in particular, what to highlight is how we could say her high-risk, high-reward plays, swinging in when she would go down. She is very, very quick on that, and on this raise, I think that it really enabled her in terms of mobility as well as playing as aggressively as she wants.
Absolutely, and her timings with her ultimate just absolutely demolishing that rolling thunder push, or at least alleviating it a little bit, was something as a sight to behold. Again, I can't really remember which round that was specifically, but RRQ, they managed to once again pull the veil over their eyes, pull the wool over their eyes, and just stop OGT from, planning a ruse of some sort. The post plan's fairly even, but I really do feel like those initial contact that RRQ was initiating was the final nail in the coffin, at least on Lotus.
Okay, I have a question to ask you now. If Capricious were to go to maybe a Jet, do you think that we might be seeing a different outcome in this map? What do you think?
I would love to agree with you, but at this point, I feel like it's one of those things where that's exactly what they wanted to avoid. So again, we might just have to find out with the next map if they want to go for that more direct route.
Yeah, but for now, I think that for for RRQ, what's really great about them is the fact that they are very, very, I would say, confident on this map. Yeah, it was a shaky first half, but the second one, it seemed like they have a better idea on how exactly to navigate on the attack. Regardless, with Ayumi getting a whopping 316 ACS, I think it really shows her dominance playing on this, I would say, duelist role. But what do you think of her switching to different roles other than duelist?
I mean, they are just so gifted with firepower all around that they can really shift a lot of their players to different roles and still find success. But with Ayumi's just knack to find a proper entry and just giving valuable space despite falling first in a lot of those early encounters has proven to be so important for this team that I see no reason for them to swap Ayumi off. Honestly, she's just basically giving her team as much space as they need to get that comfort, to get that groove going. And with them kind of just stopping what made them, I would say, lose on Haven has really elevated them. Because I feel like on Haven, what OGT really did was wait for RRQ to get in their face instead of actually just kind of being that doorstop, that stop right there. You know what I mean? The stop sign.
Yeah, I agree with you. And on top of that, you have to remember for the attack round for, I think, RRQ, what's been really good about them is just their speed, honestly, getting onto site and taking as much space as possible. And I think it's all thanks to Ayumi, I have to say, because she does have Aluka playing close to her. And whenever she were to push out, Aluka is not too far behind. So even if Ayumi were to go down, Aluka will be able to go to, for those picks. And I think this really, really solidifies in terms of their communication and their gameplay. And in this situation, I think for Orangutan, it's also another thing in particular is just that they were not as prepared as RRQ to be playing on this map. The understanding on how exactly they're supposed to be navigating, and especially when we saw for RRQ playing on defense just now, we start to understand toward the end of the round where they're able to play aggressive and catch Orangutan off guard. Regardless, as we finish the second map of the night, we are going to get our first 3 series of the day, and I'm not surprised that we're here. It is the upper bracket after all. So more Valorant game changers after this. We'll go for a quick break first. As many of you might want it to be, 2-0 is not going to be happening as we come back here to the VCT Game Changers Asia Pacific Series 2023. Tash, Buddy, and Raf here on the desk, where we are going to game number 3 for Orangutan versus RRQ Kaguya. Now, it's a very interesting situation for both these teams as both maps come pretty close. A tug of war between Haven and Lotus, both maps at 3-site, and we go into Fracture, a very momentum-heavy map.
Momentum indeed. Now, actually, we talked about it a little bit in the, I guess, the backstage, right? Where I do believe that we've come to agreement that RRQ's offensive flow is that much more impressive over OGT. But OGT's command of the retake and just the defensive side in general is, I would say, above and beyond RRQ at times. But once again, like you mentioned, it's been a complete tug of war. So I'm trying to like calculate in my head, what is the greater force here? So, you know, people are like, oh, Raf is biased because he was talking about the strengths of one team. So I talked about the strengths of both teams, their chat. So don't at me.
Okay, so we talk about strengths about that, and I think there is a lot to talk about when it comes to fracture in general. Momentum heavy is one thing, and number two is always about control. We talk about what do you call it, set play rather for fracture, right? On how exactly it's really difficult to play when it comes to having to rotate. And now for attack, you know that rotating can be a lot longer compared to playing on the defensive side where you can just cut through the middle here. We haven't really seen any rope plays just yet for this map in particular, and personally for me, I think that the aggression from RRQ Kaguya might work out in their favor, especially on this map.
I'm trying to think how Orangutan is gonna counterbalance that, right? Because as
Exactly,
we've
right?
seen- right? It's like we're meant to think on the panel. Anywho, on the first map, actually on Haven, because that was the biggest thing in the way of Kaguya. When they tried to overextend their control, Orangutan was so ready to punish with the flashes and just the utility in general, right? But they couldn't seem to draw that boundary on split, giving Kaguya so much space to pretty much go wild. Now, Fracture, when we talk about the retake heavy meta here, it's usually just a lot of control towards the spawn area of the defenders while leaving one person on either of the towers, really, whether it be B or A. But once again, this night has been just full of surprises. Is this going to be pretty much a repeat of what happened in the Swiss stage, or is Orangutan going to rewrite history?
I think that what's really important to remember about Orangutan is the fact that they are a team that's very proactive when it comes to getting information and reacting to it. Now, we have seen situations where Japips would throw out that recon and that immediate reaction from the other team and coming in from so many different ways. Now, I did see one spark of hope when it comes to playing as Orangutan on the retake side here. When it retook B on Lotus, is the fact that they were very proactive in taking so many different entrances when they sort of pincer RRQ Kaguya on the site itself. And I think that this, I would say, sort of play can work very well on Fracture, given the fact that Casper has been very, I would say, proactive and also really good in the timing when it comes to those lurks. We have seen situations where teams would go in from two different areas. Taking up space can be very important. But then again, for Fracture, there are 4 entrances onto a site here. There's so many different areas to retake, to take, to play, and I would say the idea going for picks is also very viable. I mean, the first team, back then last season, we saw SMG doing very well in defense because of their very aggressive style of play.
Yeah, and I feel like that's going to work for both ways. Again, RRQ, they're just so good at shutting down the lane, but at the same time, OGT is so good maneuvering which side they can reliably take. And just to talk about the players just a little bit more, Japips has actually provided so much stability in those rounds where it seemed bleak and all momentum was on the side of RRQ. And on the side of RRQ too, when you shut down one of them, somebody else is going to take that place and be very willing to carry that load on that shoulders. And Ayumi still has not relinquished the duelist role, which has found quite a bit of success, Tosh.
Yeah. Oh, I love this. We just talked about Neon earlier, and we are gonna get Neon. Now, the idea of a Neon here is just that the fact that the fast lane can give so much access to the site, fast rotations like you said earlier at the same time, and of course, the overdrive has so much value as well, especially as you rush into the site. You can just zap everyone close range, clear out so many corners, and I really love this for both teams. Now, I haven't really seen Capricious on this agent in particular, so I'm really excited to see how exactly this is gonna go. But before we go into the match, Raph, predictions. I want to see some chaos.
Predictions, well, you did mention I could potentially have the curse, but I will take that gladly. I will stick with my guns though. I think RRQ is going to repeat what they did in the Swiss stage. Sure, they dropped the map, but right now it looks like they've fixed every single thing that was wrong with their approach towards the map.
Okay, so now I'm gonna go opposite to you. I'm gonna go for OG because I really like the util usage. Regardless, let's see who comes out on top as we go into the third map of the night. Roar, After Dark, and Black and Blue.
After Dark? What do you mean? It is definitely the welcome back again. This is a make or break right now for RRQ and of course Orangutan Gaming. But the good part is there's still a lower bracket though. So at least, the least that we can say, these two teams, whatever the results would be, they will still be here fighting for their tournament lives. Anyway, Terror and Black and Blue bringing you map number 3. It's gonna be Fracture BNB, and we are both seeing a pick coming in from them, and it's both Neons.
Yeah, and, arguably you look at this map, for this to be decided, it's very curious because the last time they played this, it came pretty close, 13-10, and RRQ won that on out. The A Execute is coming in really fast as we kind of gotten accustomed to from these two teams. And a lot of times, the team that wins that opening matchup on the same map loses because the losing team, they now know what to adjust to. So Orangutan here to start off on the attacking side, they have the benefit of potentially building an early lead.
Not even that. Building an early momentum is something to look out for. Flashes coming in. This is going to be a Yumi going inside, but Casper right from behind. In the end, one by one, RRQ. It's going to be a Haluka versus Japeeps now, holding down this post-plant position. She still has a stun to cover out, but...
No way.
No way. Nah.
No way. He just defuses it.
I just
Doesn't
want...
even...
I just want to say, I was trying to make it sound better, but I was flabbergasted.
You did your best.
I was shocked.
You did your best, especially with the given circumstance. Japeeps doesn't get the kill in the end. And Haluka, just nerves of steel. And RRQ, they are the favorite team to win this, yes, but another thing I talked about, right, yes, Orangutan, they lost the last time versus RRQ here on Fracture during the Swiss stage, but they won every single Fracture afterwards. They won against Pseudo, they won against Sector Zero, and the hero KDA. And so they've learned a lot of lessons from their earlier bouts. They lose the opening pistol, yes, but look how close it came.
Yeah, definitely. It was a 1v1, and it was just a matter of Japeeps not hearing it, Not hearing the tap on the spike. Anyway,
I think he did hear it. He just thought it would have been a fake.
it would be a fake. Yeah, I think maybe. But at some point, you have to peek, right? At least once, or even put a stun in. Ayumi, though, waiting here. It might be deadly for the side of OGT. And exactly like that, a triple kill in an instant. And now with a fourth, maybe even going for the fifth here as Capricious is just right around the corner. And that's going to be the ace. Ayumi settling the deal here, setting dominance upon the start.
And now they've got the overdrive for round 3 for their bonus. What a play here coming from Ayumi. Waiting from that space given. She saw the lane was free on the A main, so she pushes deep. It's great support as well. Coming in here from Iceberg. And that was what was kind of faltering at some points during map number 1. Especially in the second half. But Orangutan, they may have the benefit of knowing what to adjust into coming into this, but it's a very different RRQ we're seeing right now.
It definitely is. They want to take out this map. And remember, yesterday they played this against Capybara Gang, and they dropped it, Black and Blue. They went to overtime. They dropped it at the latter part of the map, and they want that revenge match yet again. They want to prove that they can do Fracture as well. And like you said, OGT and RRQ, they've seen each other before here. And be really, really wary, especially you have Neons here. You have to really look out for those early rotations or really fast rotations coming in from both sides.
They've got something to work with here. Suppress confirms tower presence here for RRQ. The shorty, dangerous up close. A single click is all she needed to secure it. Shuts down the push from Capricious. They still have the overdrive to try and go for this retake here, Ayumi, off of these SMGs, and they've secured tower control still. The stun can be thrown out by Iceberg. Gets the one. The swing could come in on the trade. Here comes the follow-up. Huge retake coming here from RRQ. 2v1 though. Ayumi. Oh, and through the smoke as well. Casper connects. 1-2. Orangutan respond.
What a read coming in here, especially we've seen it time and time again, that despite being so fast and so tenacious here, going out and swinging out, at the end, Casper really had a good read on where Ayumi might be, or even that pre-fire just hitting right on the spot. Technical pause, or technical podcast, as we call it here in the casting
You guys,
area.
I mean, you know, it's an online tournament. It's the nature of the beast. We all live in APAC. It's how
Exactly.
it is sometimes.
You know what's up. Yeah.
You know what's up. So,
Anyway, like you said, they're playing in the comfort of their homes or boot camps, and in any sense, it's out of our hands. You know, casters start the game. I wish we can, but this time around, we have to wait, guys.
Yeah, of course. You guys should know that at this point, but what you should be aware of is the fact that Orangutan, as a team, they've gone through many roster changes throughout their runs. Last year, we saw this team have many different configurations, right? When it comes to, you look at just the organization as a whole, many change-ups, not just in the Game Changers scene, also on their other half of the VCT team. And it really was a question of, like, how consistent can they stay as a core, as a roster? And this time on around, I think this could be one of their better configurations. That's not the knock on the previous teams, the previous players that they did have. We saw some big players, last year, players like Casper, who came on in. And then we also see, players like Kachao be part of that Mythica, leave eventually with Oreophilia as well, big player. And when you have those names on the roster, very big, impressive names, you almost wonder why it didn't work out. And you have to kind of conclude sometimes that individual pieces don't make a team. But this Orangutan roster, if they can play the same way that we saw from map number 1 and early throughout map number 2, if they can play as a team that way, then they have the right tools to beat one of the best we've ever seen here in APAC and RRQ.
And like Tash would say, and I just want to echo that out as well, for Orangutan, they know what utilities they have. They know how to utilize it well. That's very important. And especially going up against a tenured team like RRQ, it is definitely a big factor. It wouldn't work out if it's just aim duels after aim duels. You know how crazy RRQ is when it comes to that aggressive aim duels, and they can really obliterate you completely. So it's just a matter of really who's gonna pull it off. The last time they've met, it was also a best of 3. It was 2-1. And RRQ won that one. This is the revenge arc of OGT right now. They want to make this work. They want to win this as well.
Yeah, well, that fight being won by Orangutan and Casper finding a double is certainly a good case to be made for them trying to win this game on up. Only round 4, but for them to take this quick and clean will help their economy moving forward in this half. And, RRQ, they've never lost a series in the past 25 games that they've played. Even more, actually, 30 plus, versus any other team that isn't Sapphire. Not a single series, only a map. But the Orangutan want to change that here.
Zinni, alone onto the site. So many utilities being thrown right now. Just holding down the fort for her, honestly. It's a 4v2 situation. They have the upper hand when it comes to man or when it comes to firepower here. 3 people against 1. And Aluka, she has to swing out. She has to get picks. It's not enough. 2-2. And OGT yet again, a successful take on the side. Not only that, that initial pickoff from Capricious towards Iceberg. And Casper really getting a kill here onto Ayumi as well. Really opened up the side for the taking. Made it easier for the side of Orangutan, especially. They have the advantage again on the manpower.
A bit disjointed there from RRQ's defense. You saw Bess towards that Sands pull back. But the two pushing forward with Ayumi and the help from Iceberg there towards main. They went on the aggression that just disjointed here the real defensive push that RRQ wanted to have. And because of that, like, Casper was ready for that double swing. Should have been the trade from the Sands. But once more, with the Orangutan pressing the pace, they're catching RRQ off guard on some of these aggressive pushes as information is gathered towards Arcade. They know the B site is where it's going to be hit. But RRQ, they've currently occupied it as well, so they're not giving this up for free, not opting to play for the retake. They want to anchor down and sends Orangutan rotating towards the A site.
This is an extreme rotation coming in from RRQ, completely leaving A site. And they realize this. It's not a hit on B. Might be this time around. Certain rotations coming in from OGT. They're just changing up the pace here from fast. Now getting a little bit slower. They know they have the advantage when it comes to the guns, especially with the null command. No utilities can be used if you're actually around spot here. Capricious going in on the side. Best show, or rather, Saw that, and Ayumi and Zinni just getting trades here.
Right between
30 seconds
Ayumi
left.
just running over the competition. Best good for the one. It's a 3v3. They're holding on to the tower control still here on the attacking side, but the plant is going to be denied. They don't have any much time. Ayumi comes on in as Chloe unaware of her presence. And a thrifty round once more. RRQ.
They know how to play their cards here for RRQ side, especially on the pistol here. Like I said, the non-command was even used up, and in the end, RRQ, especially Ayumi, not being able to be caught along the way, not even getting a grasp of the last remaining member here, Chloe not realizing she was just behind. It was a sandwich play overall, and RRQ takes the round yet again, 3-2. And this time when it comes to utilities, Black and Blue, they have overdrive here on Ayumi. Aloka also has the lockdown, so many utilities for that post or retake.
Well, they have quite a bit, as you said. Rolling Thunder, though, on the Orangutan side, and that Orbital Strike is a combo that has been proven time and time again to be deadly on this attacking side. You Rolling Thunder the position, slows and stuns the players within that spot. You confirm the kills with the Orbital Strike. Always something to worry about. But the Overdrive is what they're going to initiate with in this case. The Sipe, ripe for the taking, really. Nobody here to stop them from that, so nothing to worry on about. But that is a problem. Should be denied, though, with the Orbital Strike here on the lockdown, so they shouldn't have to worry about it too much. Where is it is a question. Oh, Capricious. It expires in the wrong time, and Ayumi gets a kill off of it.
Oh my god. Like you said, no Orbital Strike to really try and get it back, you know? They want to hold this down until they can delay RRQ, and so far that's the play. Best to get one kill here, but a good trade-off coming in from Japeep, although Ayumi yet again on the aggressive punish here. Chloe, 5 HP remaining, going up against her teammate from way back. And it's Aloka securing the kill with Timmy the turret. And in this case, she's Filipino, it's Moira de la Turret.
Okay, a reference some of the other Pinoys in chat would get, but she had, if you don't really talk about her here, Chloe, she had 2 Nano Swarms up available. Where's the Nano Swarm? Where's the lockdown to come in to buy more time before the Orbital Strike slaps in? And when they do pull the Orbital Strike, at that point, it's already halved. You have to pop it a bit earlier to give RRQ an awkward choice. Like, do I commit to getting the half but die, or do I just give it up? And they did neither. Orangutan, I think that's a big waste of a high-impact ultimate.
Well, the play just didn't work out in their favor, I guess. And again, like you said, the Orbital Strike down the drain. But look at this, for the side of RRQ, they also have an Orbital Strike. Nabsky with an initial pick-off, Iceberg. Chloe still won that? With a double even?
Gotta go.
You should
Barely stepped
love
out
to
of the
see
smoke,
it.
too. Yeah, just somehow able to win out in the bout, that able to rat really through that smoke. A criminal in every sense of the word. You can see Best tempting with the idea, destroying that lockdown, but they can use it for the plant instead. No, but they plant towards Dice. They plant for that B main and just completely bypasses the Orbital Strike.
A little too late, I would say. And at the same time,
Yeah.
good selection of a plant for Orangutan, and knowing that it was
Player
Capricious, she
standing.
could just get out of the situation quite quickly as well. Casper here with another kill onto a head, and now it's all up to Bess. 3v1 situation, so many angles to cover here. Really sandwich play, but maybe it
Nice
still
try,
works
kid.
out. One man down when it comes to Art, or rather when it comes to the tower, but in the end, Chloe. And they know they had the advantage with a 2-man, so not a problem at all.
Well, in that case, you know, you have the man count, you have the plant for you.
Player standing.
Very difficult for the retake. Both Orbital Strikes burned one after the other without much value found. That's such a big ultimate here to hold on to in these halves.
At least it's a tie, right?
They, well, 4-3,
back.
close enough at the
I
very
mean,
least.
it's a tie when it comes to the Orbital Strike. One
Oh, right,
didn't
right,
get
yeah,
value, and the other didn't get value. It's a reset.
Neither did. Yeah, crab mentality at its fullest here, Taylor. You can see it being applied. If you can't get some, neither could I. The Orangutan, they want to get some here towards this B side. Pushing on in. Aloka denies it. Has a nanoswarm to try and fend him off as well.
This is the Nightfall being used. And right now, for OGT. They can't plant the spike. So many utilities being thrown on the side. And aside from that, Aluka still holding down the fort when it comes to tower. Nabsky to come join the team and the rest. 3v1 situation. Casper, not quite sure if they know where exactly she would be, but now they definitely do, as Iceberg spots her out. Oh, going for the swing. She still has one smoke. And, well, the other has also one smoke. She got smoked off here. It's going to be a little too difficult, I would say, Nabsky to settling the deal here. 5-3, B&B.
Yeah, she just peeks out this time. And, one thing, you know, we didn't mention is the fact that it's Aluka this time on the Sentinel instead of being that main initiator, which we have been seeing. So that her and Nabsky really swapping on out positions for this map in comparison and in stark contrast to what we were seeing a while ago on Lotus and on Haven. And I think that just gives, you know, a player like her a bit more freedom to really flex a lot of her aggressive strengths on the anchor position and her lurking potential on the attacker side later. But Orangutan on another thrifty round. Ayumi gets the one, but traded out immediately.
Always with the trade, that's gonna be Orangutan, and really punishing one player after the other, and it's gonna be both the Neon out. And just to add into that B&B as well, we've seen this from the match they had yesterday. She was also a killjoy, and it worked out wonderfully. Right now, though, against Orangutan, they're having a really difficult time here on the defense. After Shock being used, try and delay any plant at all that Orangutan wants to bring to the table. Aside from that, they're waiting for the smoke to dissipate to make a retake happen.
Here comes on in the push. Orangutan, not much to hold this down with. Not exactly the most convenient angle as well for that main hold. Rolling Thunder burnt here on the post plant. They really want this round, and it could be 1v2. Sheriff on Japeeps. He has a single flash to swing out wide, but without a better weapon, going to be difficult, and they couldn't deny the plant from that angle. And this is a problem I've been seeing so far here in Orangutan, Taylor. They're using these ultimates not to secure a winnable round, but more importantly, or more arguably, as a band-aid to somehow maybe a Hail Mary to potentially win a round that they're not even supposed to.
Exactly the term I was looking for. Really pulling out the utilities. Like you said, from all the rounds we've looked at, not really much of a value, I would say. Aside from that one round where the Rolling Thunder actually pushed back the players of, I'm not sure if it was Orangutan or RRQ, but that's basically it. Aside from that, like you said, sometimes it becomes band-aid solutions from the teams that we're looking at, especially from Orangutan. And I feel like they would find more value, yet again, if they can relay to the teammates that they have what their plan is, or really have that bigger perspective, maybe have a good reset before you take on to the site. Yet again, they are the attackers. They are to react in any way, shape, or form, or how RRQ tries to shut them down, especially they're the one attacking. So this timeout might help a lot for them.
Well, it should. They bear it damn well. Because Orangutan, they do not want to get sent down to the lower bracket. It's unforgiving down there. No real hopes to be found too far when you do get sent down to the lower bracket, aside from just somehow clawing your way through a difficult gauntlet. But let's not call it before the lady sings. Orangutan still have 3 rounds in this opening attacking half of theirs to play. But look at the defensive push from RRQ. Taking so much space and control away. And Orangutan, they're sent to rotate towards A.
They still have to punish down, especially the person on drop. It's gonna be Aluka. Anyway, Chloe is around the corner while Capricious is already on site. They want to try and plant a spike and really prepare that post plant immediately. And RRQ not batting an eye right now. They want to play that retake. They know they have utilities. They have the lockdown even. Aluka with a kill, but Japeeps yet again with an indirect trade. Ayumi charging the lead here, or leading the charge rather, as they try to go in. Japeeps caught them off guard.
I'm out of here.
Look at where they push. They have CT control here and of the ropes. Aluka still in the drop. She found the flanker and found one more on the site. Ayumi quick on that peek to find out Casper. But this is so deadly, so dangerous. Capricious good on the one. Ayumi quick on the trade. It's all down to Japeeps and Iceberg to deny the plant. But it still comes on in with the defuse. The time there working out in RRQ's favor.
so much pressure on this pulse plan. You can definitely see that Ayumi and Alaka were really trying their best to hold people away from Iceberg as she tries to defuse the spike. And the wall obviously just perfectly set up to hide. And the activity, or rather the active dual lifestyle Ayumi is showing right now, helping out teammates, not really using utility for herself, but really to cover up for the rest of the team. It's just pretty to see, especially as they work as a unit. Now OGT, they want to take one more round here, going in fast on B side. Mollied in already, Aluka. They know, they're pushing. Zinni though, he gets, or rather she gets one.
I thought that would have been a double kill there for Bess. Almost gonna make the transfer work on out. The Seize comes on in time. The Suppress as well. Iceberg sprays through the smoke. And off the precipice of it, Casper goes down. Zinni finds the one. Iceberg on the second kill here, on through it. Ayumi going and pushing and pressing the pace. Japeeps with the Rolling Thunder to try and force him off. But it's difficult. She's very low. 1v1, mind you. She has utility to use here, Ayumi. Has that wall as well to try and cut up a sight line. Trying to spam on through. Japeeps pressing on forward. Has the timing on this, but Ayumi still gets it because Japeeps is way too low. And what an attempt here by Orangutan. But RRQ win out another.
The issue remains when it comes to the post plan Black and Blue, that at some point, at some degree, they decide to plant it and in the end have a positioning where the last remaining player would be out of sight just because of how RRQ pushes them off. And the comfort of really having a sightline onto the spike and this post plant, they just completely removed that because of Ayumi really going in onto the site and really pushing them out of their comfort zones.
Yeah, really making sure that they can't be just too comfortable, right, in where they're playing here on that post plant. RRQ, that's momentum heavily in their favor right now. Orangutan struggling so far to get a good grip, to get a grasp of the situation. Damage being done here, as once more that drop is something RRQ have been putting pretty great importance into holding. They send the defense rotating towards the B site as a lockdown is used towards A. And another B site retake to come on in.
Oh, holding down the flank right here. The Prowler though, a little bit too early for Iceberg to peek without the Prowler. But anyway, this orbital strike got a kill onto Zinni. Still not yet over. Still a 4v4. They're trying to fight for control. Ayumi yet again with the overdrive right now. Answering back to the rest of the team of OGT. They want to finish strong when it comes to the first half. And so far, 4v1. It's all up to Chloe. The pressure is on this attack. No spike planted.
Oh, difficult for Chloe.
I got the spike.
3 different positions she's gonna have to deal with. Finds the third kill she needs. Taps the spike, fakes out the information. Oh, this turret is big. Gives her the close info, but still could not connect the shot. Navsky gets the 9-3. Another 9-3 half. The second one we've had in this series, Taylor.
It's just a never-ending 9-3 or 9, really 9-3. But look at this. Just even if they burn down the lockdown that we had from the Killjoy onto a site, they still managed to be able to rotate fast. Yet again, this is Fracture. Easy rotation, or rather, very close rotation. Nonetheless, this is the first half we're looking at. Let's see what the panel thinks about it. Raf and Tash, take it away.
Once again, we're served with another 9-3 half here for Orangutan versus RRQ Kaguya. And I have to say that in this map in particular, RRQ showing us the prowess as well as aggression and momentum. But what do you think, Raf?
I feel like the biggest problem on the side of OGT, and I feel like the casters, Terror and Black and Blue did mention it, is that the ultimates were not used to really complement those rounds where it should have been a lot more clear-cut. Instead of what they've been doing is supplementing the weaker buys. Again, it's a different approach to the game and potentially could have stealed a bunch of rounds away. Unfortunately, the way it went is that it just ended up being a miscall and a misplay. But at the same time, with OGT, they've had Japips to rely on. Ultimately, though, that 9-3 half is still up in the air.
Oh yeah, I think this is something that is very, it always happens here, especially on the map of Fracture, where we talk about extremes. And I think extremes is definitely something that is really great to talk about when it comes to this map in particular. Now, when we talk about extremes, what do you think might happen in the second half? Will the pendulum swing back toward Orangutan, or will RRQ Kaguya have it in the bag?
definitely is a possibility knowing the resilience of Orangutan, and we've seen them come back many times, and we saw it earlier in the series. RRQ, I feel like they're a little more aware of that, so they are definitely going to be staying frosty and keeping their heads on a swivel. But right now, it's just slow and steady, and slow is smooth and smooth is fast.
Smooth is fast, but let's see if this is going to be happening here. 9-3, back to the game. Black and Blue and Terrar take it away.
Well, it's really looking to be like RRQ taking the game away here. I'm B&B, with me is Terrar once more for the final half of this series. And Taylor, they're really looking to shape up to the RRQ that we know.
I know, right? Finally seeing what they can bring to the table, especially how aggressive this team plays right now. And it just goes to show on the defense itself, once they decide to make a retake happen, they put their mind and heart to it into pushing the sites. And yet again, for OGT, we know the capabilities of this team. They took map number 1 against RRQ, and they can do it again. It's still a 50-50 right now, and I still believe on the 9-3 curse, BNB.
Oh well, we saw it happen twice today already. Maybe a third time could be the charm here for Orangutan. They did it a while ago on map number 1. To replicate that success would be crucial. Oh, but no! What a blunder here from Chloe. Should have been a free kill. And Alka gets the pick away.
Very low on HP though, 4 HP remaining on her, and aside from that, Napski was able to get a pick on that KO. Casper to go down as well. And it's all just one player down. It's Capricious left alone to make this retake happen against 5 players of RRQ. And I think it's time, with how Capricious said it, with how Neon said it, I'm out of here.
Yeah, difficult to try and take this. They have full control of that CT and Jenny side. And Capricious here, just a bit too much for her to chew. RRQ with a flawless opening pistol. It seems like the curse this time around could be dissuaded.
Last player standing.
If you think about it, this was the perfect opportunity to start off in a comeback, especially if Orangutan takes the pistol round. And because that didn't happen and that wasn't the result, it's gonna be a double-digit score line when it comes to RRQ. But aside from that, they have the advantage to buy off in this specific round. And when it comes to OGT, it's just 2 rounds that you have that, or you give that certain advantage towards RRQ. You make it just a little bit more difficult to make a comeback happen, but you still never know.
Oh, big question, right? No certainties here. Alka gets a kill on the Casper, but a kill a while ago. That should have been Chloe's from the top of the tower. Gonna be kicking herself after that one. She knows that would have been huge to get Alka down. And now the take comes in towards that B-side tower, trying to be held here by Orangutan. Shorties and frenzies of all they've got. They know they confirm that presence because of the thread here from that C's. And now the post-plant retake's going to come on in, and once more, emphasis on taking away Cafeteria and Jenny, CT side from RRQ.
Wow, well, everyone is just rotating. Nabsky just decided to pounce in on the fight. Caught off guard as players of OGT. Chloe to go down in the hands of Aluka here. Zinni, she still has a blade, but nevertheless, info has been given out when she uses ropes. Not quite sure if that is heard by... That's 3 people that are suppressed right now. She knows what's up. She has a shorty. And I don't think that this round is still doable for OGT. They really have to play it out and completely win multiple rounds altogether.
Why even just peek at that point? Just, you know,
Die
to the
off.
spike.
Yeah.
Yeah, you're not going to get much out of it. Maybe if she had a classic, but a shorty even in that case, nah, no way.
Not
no
only
way in
that,
hell.
she was able to give 200. I was gonna say peso. 200 credits to the
Yes.
enemy team as they take the kill, right? So that's added economy. Why not? And RRQ is willing to take that.
Valorant bucks, dollary dues, whatever you
Valorant
want to call
bucks.
it. RRQ force the early timeout here for OGT Orangutan. It ain't their calling to be on Fracture, it seems. And with their previous bout in the Swiss stage, going pretty deep, 10-13. I would have thought Orangutan could put up a better fight in this one, but maybe. It's not out of the question just yet, right? 11-3 is still much more doable than a 12 match point scoreline would be, because then you just have no margin for error at all. And with a gun round here coming on up for Orangutan, them not winning the pistol hurts, but losing this next round, I think, is going to be the nail in the coffin. This is crucial for them to win round 15.
And I think RRQ from yesterday's game, they've realized the mistakes. They've polished, they've talked about it, especially or specifically with this map. And that was against Capybara Gang. Now this is against OGT. So not quite sure what happened yesterday here, but so far, very dominant rounds that we're looking at here from RRQ. And we can definitely say as well, Capricious, she's trying to find value more and more alongside the rounds. One kill towards her, and that's going to be the smoke as well.
Now Swarm here to try and deny that. Aluka still wins out once more, and the Spectres, they're reigning home here for RRQ. Equalize on now. Another shot from Aluka. We brought her name up a while ago because she is just incredible in these situations. 1v2 as Nabsky is taken on down really quick, and Orangutan barely hold on.
11-4 is the score, and not only that, again, even or despite Orangutan barely holding on to this round, like you said, it was the most important round that we are bound to see. But other than that, despite winning this round, again, the economy might be a little bit on the tipping side. Like we can see, it's only going to be a half buy, 2 on Spectres, 1 half armor, and the rest is going to be full on rifles. So let's see what they can do with this, and none other than that, it's a defense anyway.
And defensive round here. That was a bonus from RRQ, but damage was certainly done. Armor here out for Orangutan at the very least. They're able to barely get that full. As that orb is taken. Alerts here, the defense of Orangutan.
Face your
There's more
fear!
presence potentially on B than they initially thought. Lots of utility though to keep this at bay. Those nano swarms buying this time and buying the defense time to rotate. Chloe good for the one. A second goes her way. She gets the third as well. And RRQ just simply faltering here towards the defense of Orangutan. This is the type of round they need to get back into the game. A 4K flawless for Orangutan.
Like you said, the flawless round is what we have right here. Exactly what they needed. Good pop off the swarm, and not only that, but the alarm bot really triggered and really gave them the vulnerability enough to really punish them quite easily, especially coming in from Chloe here. Not only that, it's not only because Chloe was able to shut them down, but because of the diversion that the rest of the team of Orangutan was able to give while Chloe was making her play happen. That was huge coming in from OGT.
I'm out of here.
What a round there for Orangutan. Momentum finally kind of being equalized. Could be the start. Something new for them. Certainly a tall ask. A difficult mountain to climb. But even Everest starts with the first step. And that was that there for Orangutan. They have the rifles to get the plant on down here for RRQ though. The retake's going to be crucial. They have the lockdown to buy even further time. And Zinni, big kill she gets.
One-way smokes, we can see that as well. And with the Killjoy putting the lockdown on the site itself, or rather underneath, this will give space for the rest of RRQ to really delay out this defense. But Capricious just pressing W right in front of Aluka's face. And one more maybe. The stun settling in, actually connecting to her. Best took that opportunity completely as well. 4v2 situation is the last 2 remaining members here. Spike completely diffused already. RRQ 11-6 so far. This is like a deja vu of what happened yesterday. BNB was also at 11 where they got nailed down on this scoreline.
Oh, some nightmares of the past, echoes of another life, of another day, of another game could replicate themselves here. And how much that would benefit Orangutan to its fullest extent if they can do it.
Placing swarm grenade.
11-3 curse would be even worse than a 9-3 in that case. Orbital strike available here for Bess. A swift end to that previous round coming from Orangutan, but can they do it on these type of rounds? These are the crucial ones. Midway through, where RRQ still has a decent amount of cushion, but they also have rifles. Operator out for Capricious.
Operator Let's see if it takes value. Gets value. She knows there's someone in A main.
There.
Someone swings out blindly or openly. This is gonna be a hit, of course, if Capricious hits the shots. But it's just a waiting game. Patience is key, as they say, BNB.
Oh, the stun comes on and out. That is huge. Those relay bolts secure the kill and the site. Ayumi doing great work. The Japeeps on the trade. Gets a follow-up as well on the Nabsky because of those stuns. 3v3. They have the orbital strike, but the Rolling Thunder and the retake potentially from Orangutan is still deadly, is still a threat.
They do have that Rolling Thunder.
Oh, they
so
dodged
we
it.
are looking at Japeeps use that up. Yes! Take on the kill on Japeeps, and Aluka finally getting a kill onto Zinni. Now it's up to the last member of the team, Chloe. One by one, she tries to pick them. One down for her, 2 more to go, but this orbital strike. She moves out, safe.
Safe for the meantime, but the plant is here for A main. They can't deny this defuse off of the Molly. Oh, she just barely been in. She's ultimately dead here. And Aluka confirms the kill. 12-6. RRQ take match point.
Like I said, RRQ knows how to utilize utilities that we have right here. They know when to use it up for delays. They know when to execute it. And this is the perfect timing for them to actually close things off and really go for that match point. But other than that, Chloe, she was able to have the spike. It's just a matter of really having that post plant, knowing that the Brimstone is still alive. You still have to assume that the Molly will be up and really be used up, especially in this kind of post plant situations. Now RRQ, they have overdrive, they have Rolling Thunder, but Aluka taking a little bit of a damage here. More damage though is towards Capricious.
Look at this. Execute coming on in. Heavy-handed. RRQ want this site for the taking. Ayumi takes down Capricious, pressing the pace, trying to take that arcade as well. Casper good for the one, but only for that one as Aluka gets a trade out before she's traded out immediately by Zinni. They're trying to take that tower on away. Nabsky on the swing. She doesn't win the fight. Zinni keeps it at bay. They remain control of that tower. They absolutely needed that. Orangutan here, a single round away from going down to the lower bracket, but Iceberg finds that kill. Has the Rolling Thunder to throw to deny the defuse. Best still has a Molly to deny that from happening once more. Aftershock to buy even more time. RQ are playing this so well. It's so deadly right now for Chloe. So much pressure to be applied. Has the stun. Iceberg wins the kill, but Chloe still stays alive. Has the half defuse. Best knows the angle. She's sticking it, and she gets the defuse still. Orangutan, hold on for dear life.
What? It's still hit. I thought it was a round for RRQ, and suddenly 12-6 became 12-7. This round was just a sure shot for RRQ. They had so much delays. They had aftershocks. They even had the Rolling Thunder out. So many utilities put into a site, but it only takes Chloe to understand the mind of RRQ. BNB. This player has been a teammate of Aluka. She understands how the team works. She understands how the mind of Aluka works. And the rest of the team, they go and went up against Alter Ego before.
You know, something similar happened when they were on that Alter Ego side during the grand finals, when they were going up against that Sapphire squad, where a defuse in their face, exactly like that, happened towards the B site. It's looking to haunt them once more. Kills found on either side as either Neon gets the opener. Capricious on the double. Orangutan holding on still.
Whoa, Nabsky though. Clear shot with that Sheriff. 1 man down. Or 1 woman down, again, in this case. Chloe and Zinni. Yet again, Chloe is left here for OGT to really make out the play alongside with Zinni. They have a knife, a suppress coming in, and aside from that, they also got 2 flashes to play out. So this would already give them a cue. It's gonna be an A hit, and the 3 of the players of RRQ already preparing for that. Yet again, another post plan.
It comes down to this.
30 seconds left.
Orangutan, 2v3. That's Chloe and Zinni. The latter, she hasn't had the best map so far in this series. Struggling a bit. They still have the flashes. They know there's presence within that site, but the question is, are they aware of that top floor control, of that second floor hold. Ayumi playing the stairs. They clear her out. They get the kill as well. It's all here on the Zinni, who cannot find a single one. And with that, RRQ move on over to the upper bracket final to face Team SMG and send Orangutan down to the lower bracket.
Finally finding that convincing win in this map that we have right here. Great showing coming in from RRQ. And like I said, despite the efforts here from Orangutan's side, they just couldn't find that much value on the Neon, even on the attack a while ago. And moving forward here on the defense for them, and RRQ knowing what they're doing and exactly what happened to them yesterday, they're not just bound to repeat. And we say history repeats itself, but this time around, RRQ knew better, BNB.
Yeah, and you know, this was very close to being a 2-0, Taylor. They almost won that first map, let's not forget. But it seemed like RRQ, as the series progressed, so did their confidence and so did their competency in playing a lot of these rounds, not giving up opportunities that otherwise would have been a waste. We saw a very valiant, memorable effort there at the end from Chloe on that one round right before the end, the defuse, but ultimately enough, it's RRQ who prevails. And for that, in the meantime, I'm Black and Blue. With me is Terror, and our panel has got something to say, so on to you guys.
Thank you very much, Terror and BNB, as we go back to the analyst desk here, Tash Bunny alongside Raph, and we saw a whole 3 series night, no overtimes, but it's really such a tug of war between Orangutan and RRQ Kaguya. Now, it looks a little bit more dominating for RRQ Kaguya, but in the second half, Orangutan did show some signs of life.
Signs of life indeed, but what really pushed RRQ over the hill was the fact that the star power in RRQ, when they don't have to overcomplicate the strats, when they just have to say, hey guys, we have a lot more going on our end, especially in the moment where everybody's just contributing frags in a lot of in spades, right? And the biggest thing that I would have to take away from that match is that, despite me getting the correct prediction, and Josh did not get the right one, is that RQ did such a great job of planting the seeds of discord in the mind of OGT. They only ever preemptively stopped that rotation inwards towards the site once. I believe that was like around 20-something. But because they did it just once and never did it again, the passive threat just kept looming in the minds of OGT. And you saw a little bit of that hesitation. And it did change the, I would say, the trajectory of some of the ways they would use their ultimates and their abilities. And with that being said, RRQ, they look to be in form, and BNB and Taylor did mention, as the series progressed, the more confident they became.
Yeah, I mean, if you look at how exactly each team played, especially for Ayumi on that Neon, it was a very go, go, go mindset for her as we look at the score here. But now, the go, go, go mindset of Ayumi has been phenomenal because it's not about just her taking that space, but all the way pushing to the back of sight. And it was to the point where Orangutan wasn't able to really answer the call of aggression from Ayumi. It's very rare she goes down as well because of how her teammates were just so close at her heel. Regardless, we're going to see the battle of the Killjoys here, top score here, as we have Chloe and Aluka. And I'm really liking the fact that Aluka is able to kind of flex around on different agents and roles, because look at her combat score, but Chloe is not bad at all.
Absolutely, and the whole thing about playing Duelist, which both of these players can really replicate their success on, is that you have to influence your gravity by pushing forward. Now, what happens when you put those types of players on a roles where everybody has to come to you? The gravity just becomes that much stronger, and Aluka really proving that as well. Chloe had a lot of moments where she really did hold down her own too, but at the same time, I feel like there were just missed calls on the macro side of OGT, and once again, RRQ further accentuating that with that overwhelming firepower, really.
Yeah, when you talk about missed calls, I think that it is something of a problem here. It feels like in terms of rotations, the timings, it was very, very off for the team. And on top of that, if you look at how exactly they've been playing here, it's not as, I would say, clean as what we saw in Haven. It is, after all, that first map was Orangutan's pick. Now, coming back to that, I think that it's also really important to remember that whenever it's always the last person standing, it's most likely going to be Chloe. And she's always good for 1 or 2 in those situations, but not able to fully clutch the rounds because she is just outnumbered outnumbered at that point because her timing with her teammates to get to site has been a little bit more later. But Ayumi's entries onto the site has been so phenomenal, knowing where exactly to clear and making sure that her speed is just so unmatched. How many times has she gotten on the site where Capricious with the op wasn't able to even know that she was right beside her already on the site itself?
Yeah, when we saw that POV, it was basically a Master Oogway moment.
Master
My
Oogway
time
moment,
has
huh?
come. Remember when they were standing under the jasmine tree? No, wait, I'm not ready. And in any case, it's Alka taking that MVP, a stone wall for RRQ. If they can keep the push going, then they can definitely stop anybody else from entering their space. And I have to mention too, when you have that type of firepower to really rely on, it becomes that much more dangerous to oppose them.
Yeah, I think that for Aluka, from last year all the way till now, I am still in awe at how much she has grown and changed as a player. From a very, I would say, very loose and very aggressive player that can totally go for that overheat to someone that's a little bit more, I would say, calm, very composed, able to make things work even on deficit rounds. Her aim is just so very sharp, and this maturity coming from her as a player is just so huge. And I think that RRQ may just be the right home for her.
Absolutely, and just to add a little bit of wisdom to that, sometimes you don't have to tighten your squeeze on a lot of things. Sometimes you just gotta open the hands and let things walk into your palms. And that's exactly what Alka did. She's become that much more mature and so level-headed as a player that all those merits that you brought up in that discussion have just really flourished in this map, especially on a map like Fracture, right, where you have so many angles to worry about from the approaching team. And Alka, she was just ready.
Yeah, speaking about ready, I think that a lot of these situations have been really good for her. And it's just so very good when you think about it, because when Aluka was pushing inside of the site, it's always going to be with her teammate. On top of that, the crossfires have been really good as well. Is the fact that we talk about how Ayumi is already on the site, and after that, Aluka comes in and she's just ready for those picks. In a lot of situations, yes, Ayumi may go down, but a lot of the situations, it's Ayumi just passing by. Ayumi was just merely the distraction for her other teammates to go for those picks. I think it's what's so good about it as well is the fact that for RRQ, it's more about just taking the site, getting control, and taking away from Orangutan. And that map is just so perfect for that style of play. Regardless, I think we should hear it first from Aluka herself. What exactly has she experienced as a player and how much she has grown? Let's bring her into the call. Hello, Aluka!
Hello.
Okay, Aluka, I have a lot of questions for you. And coming first, actually, Tayrar has the most important question first, is when exactly are you going to treat her to birria tacos?
Probably when I go back to PH.
Right, so right now, where exactly are you bootcamping? Indonesia?
Yeah, we are currently in bootcamp at Indonesia.
Right, it's so exciting to see. Now, I really want to talk about your growth here with RRQ. Coming as for you as a player, playing, because before this, when I've seen you Nigama Galaxy, as well as coming into AECL, you are mostly the duelist, playing a very, I would say, duelist role. And I haven't really seen you swapped into different agents just yet. Now, coming into RRQ, you're playing so many different roles. Are you more comfortable in that kind of situation, or is it just vital for your growth to play different roles and agents?
I think I would say that it's a little bit of both. It's vital for our composition, and I am also comfortable playing other agents.
Ooh, well, I feel like this is not really game related, but when you do treat Taylor to tacos, I hope you make sure I'm also there, because I do live with her, so it'd be weird she'd
Yeah, we
come
could
and
all meet
have
up.
those tacos. There you go. Absolutely.
I
am
wanna
happy.
go
That
too,
was the
hello?
question. Yes, make sure Tasha's here too.
Yeah. Okay, so coming back into the game here, and the first game in Haven, were you expecting Orangutan to come back that strong on the second half?
Not really. I think we just made a lot of missed calls and misjudgments that made us lose the rounds, and we
Mhm.
couldn't really um adapt to what they were doing. So fortunately we fixed that mistake and took second and third map.
Oh, speaking of the second map, you guys chose Lotus, and actually it's the first one that I think I've casted or at least watched just so far in this tournament. what made you guys decide that you were going to be stronger on that map? And did you have any idea that Orangutan would be prepared for Lotus?
In our map pick, we don't really based it on of our enemies. We based it on of our like stronger sides. So we really practice Lotus like I don't think it's been a month. We only practice
Wow.
it like close to the tournament,
Right.
and we
And how?
really like the map and how we synergized on it. So yeah, that's contributed to our pick.
I really love the fact that I actually like how you played on that map itself, and given the fact that you have played that map less than a month, it really shows the mastery on how exactly you guys are able to work and synergize together. And coming into map number 3 for Fracture, what were you expecting to see from Orangutan in that map, and were you guys just more confident as we go into map number 3?
I think we were confident in our Fracture. I know that we played like not really good yesterday against Capybara, and so we talked about it like a while ago before the tournament started, and we fixed our mistake, and we talked about what could have been like what we could have done better. So we tried to implement that on our game going into Orangutan.
All right, thank you very much, Aluka, for that. I'm really happy to see you fitting in very well with RRQ Kaguya. You are doing so very well, and I love to see it. Hope to see you guys more coming into the upper bracket, and hopefully to see you guys tomorrow for another interview. Bye.
Thank you. Can I say something?
Oh, okay, sure. Say it.
I just want to say hi to my mom who's watching and supporting me
Aw.
in the Philippines.
Aww. Okay, I'm sure you miss her a lot. I'm sure she misses you too, and I'm sure she is very, very proud of you. Thank you again, Aluka.
Thank you all to
Hope
the
to see you
fans
soon.
also was been supporting us.
You know what? I should have asked that. Like, what do you want to say to your fans? You know what? You know what else you should say? What do you want to say to Raph and Taylor, your two fans here on the desk for VCT Game
I'm really
Changers?
thankful when I rewatch my my games and I've seen them casting and say good things about me and my team. So thank you for
Aw.
believing in
Aw.
us.
Okay. Love to hear it. All right, see you soon, Aluka. Bye.
Bye bye.
Whoo, she is so cute.
She's such a sweetheart, you know what I mean? And like
Yeah.
I feel like the opinions are only going to rise as we see them play a lot better, moving on with the series, and as I'm gonna get those free tacos. Oh my goodness.
And me too, by the way. So don't forget. I had to. I had to. Okay, now we have come to the end of the night of day 2 of Valorant Game Changers Asia Pacific Series 2023. But before that, let's look at the brackets to see where we are now on day 2 of the tournament. Now, we start off the day with the upper brackets here for Orangutan. Sorry, with RRQ going up with Orangutan. Now, Orangutan has dropped to the lower side where we're going to be seeing for match number 9 a full India versus India team, which I'm very, very excited to see, as RRQ will be moving up to the upper brackets to go up against SMG, arguably right now the strongest team in VCT Game Changers.
Oh man, that is a strong claim, but very, very difficult to contest. Truly, we are going to be in a treat for these up and coming matches. And over the lower bracket here too, Tosh, the stakes, they're only getting higher. I feel like the tightrope just becomes that much more dangerous as the days go by and as the competition just gets that much more difficult too.
Yeah, as we come into this day, I think it's really important to talk about how each team has been playing and just maneuvering through this map. Teams are looking stronger than before, and I'm really excited that I am actually here to see it with you, Raph. Thank you very much for spending the day with us over at VCT Game Changers APAC Series 2023. Don't forget to follow FSL on all their social medias, whether it be Instagram, Twitch, YouTube, and everything else in between for the latest news on what's happening for VCT Game Changers APAC. I'm Tash, but alongside Raph, and it's been a pleasure being here on the desk with you guys. Good night.